another world, another realm. Sometimes you gotta wonder, are they really as smart as people say? This one seems to be drooling all over himself, trying to put shapes into a box. Tune in tonight where you see if monkey plus alien equals human, which there is no evidence for anywhere. Get ready for the alien experience of your life at 10 p.m. live on the Foxxhole. Tune in and strap in.
Welcome to Live from the Foxhole. Tonight, we have our distinguished guest that we've had on the Let You Know podcast before, Mr. Jason Galindo. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Gentlemen, good to meet you. My name is Jason. I'm a high priest of Satan. I practiced for 25 years. I have extensive knowledge on various topics such as this. So let's rock and get the convo started.
Yep. And my co-conspirator.
Sly Fox in the house.
So what's the first thing you want to get into here with these aliens? And we're not talking about illegal ones. Well, I mean, they could be illegal. I mean, they're not from here.
I mean, to be honest, I'm really curious to see Jason's perspective. I've never asked a Satanist before if they believe in aliens, what they think, whether they believe in that a lot of Christians think that they're demons. Now, I will say what gives credence to the whole that they're demons thing, and the only reason I will kind of cede that point is because, you know, if you get to an intelligent race like we are now, and we create something, AI, and then AI creates its own body. Now it's a being. Now it exists, but it doesn't ever have the feeling of being alive. It doesn't know thirst. It doesn't know hurt, anything like that. It doesn't have a soul, in my opinion. So you could sit there and say that some of these higher advanced things could be demonic because A, it's never been alive. It's completely a fabricated entity. And B, it doesn't have a soul.
Well,
so
demons
I mean,
are souls, though.
Not all of them, though. Some demons have never been known the feeling of being alive, and that's why they chase down humans for possession and stuff like that. I mean, that's just like the Catholic standpoint on it. I mean, not my personal standpoint, but you know, so that's where I want to start.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm someone that likes to have his cake and eat it too, right? So I will assert a creation theory from God, but I also assert that aliens also exist, but they are creations of God as well. So I would say both happen, both exist. However, we were not created by aliens, and that is my assertion. And we will get to the points and evidence and such as convo continues.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I would like Sly Fox here. What would be something that you would bring about for evidence, like first and foremost, not of what we were just talking about, but just the existence of aliens? Period. Because I'm on the fence. I think that there is a high possibility, just given logic and how the universe works, that there are aliens out there. Like I'm not saying God just created us. He created lots of things, and we may not know about some of those things. But we've never seen it. And that's my perspective. We've seen, you know, potato cam videos and things like that, or things that could be construed as aliens, but something concrete. And if you don't have concrete, something that would really give us, you know, kind of tip the edge.
I think the example that I've been using the last few years has been a documentary by a Dr. Stephen Greer. In my opinion, he's probably the most trustworthy voice and has the most trustworthy evidence. He had brought about the Disclosure Project in 2001, which is an offshoot from the Senate hearings in the 90s that they were responsible for. Okay. They've got thousands of whistleblowers, credible documents, credible footage. They've got treasure troves of footage. The documentary Unacknowledged is actually free on Tubi if you want to watch it. Highly recommend. Sprinkled throughout that documentary is some of the footage that he's cataloged over the years, and it's some of the best footage I've ever fucking seen. And it's not like that how some footage that is real looks fake. No, this stuff looks like you couldn't create some of it with computers. There's no way. And it just, I think that just the simple math alone as well, the universe is fucking massive and it's only getting bigger. The observable universe, we've barely even gotten out of our solar system. Well, who are we to say what's out there? Past Pluto, past, where the Voyager is gone.
Yeah, the absolutist point of view that there are no aliens, period, is, in my opinion, illogical. You can't say that.
Correct.
I think you can say, like I said, I don't believe they've been here, or maybe I don't even believe in aliens, but if an alien came down, okay. But it doesn't make any sense just to cancel out the whole idea.
I agree. And also, so David Grush, he was a U.S. intelligence officer, and in June 2023, he stood before a U.S. congressional hearing and stated emphatically that alien existence on Earth is a fact, and spacecraft had been recovered. And
what's his name again?
David Grush.
David Grush.
Grush. All right.
He's one of the more famous of the recent whistleblowers. His testimonies were pretty long, and I watched them at work, or I listened to them, whatever you want to say. But what I found interesting about those is when he would be asked a certain question, some of them he would say, I can't talk about this right now. We have to talk about it in a SCIF setting. Now, for those who don't know what a SCIF is, that is a secure room, essentially. No cell phones are allowed, no outside electronics, nothing is allowed to be taken out of it. Everything that happens in that room stays in that room. It's all ears and eyes only. So some of the things that he talked about, that some of the questions he couldn't answer in the public setting, that's telling in itself.
Exactly. So, there's only so much information they can let out at a certain time, right? So everything's kind of a planned. It's a planned release of information, and he can only say so much at a time. And as we progress, what in my opinion, what they're doing is they're slowly release information to get us used to the alien presence. It's there, but if it's released all at once, it'd be mass hysteria, it'd be madness, and it's slowly being lit out. So
I take it you're familiar with the Brookings report then?
Which one was that?
So that was a report in the late 60s, early 70s from higher intelligence society, whatever you want to call them, the colleges, whatever, sociologists and people like that, higher ups in the government. And basically they said that their study concluded that if they were to come out and openly say, yes, aliens exist, yes, they come here all the time, yes, we know about it, we got deals with them, whatever, that you would have not only the collapse of society, you would have the collapse of the Abrahamic religions, which they don't want that. So what they said was the result of that report was that you are going to slowly leak it into media. You're slowly going to leak into music, movies, TV shows. And from that point forward, you started to see more of it in movies and as a theme of aliens and stuff like that, and secret government agencies, and if you slowly drip that into society and give them the choice to believe it or not, versus telling them this is the truth, period, like it or not, period, and here we are 50 years later, and we've already had disclosure. We got disclosure in 2020, but nobody gave a shit.
Yeah. And this is also, if you were going to wait 50 years, this is the bad time to do it, because of the fact nowadays that we have AI and we have supercomputers, and we, like, to your point earlier, Kurt, Sly, God bless, there's another fucking donation.
Every time.
Yeah,
Jason, he owes you $20.
Yeah, no. But
I'll send you my Cash App.
Great. But with like Project Bluebeam, AI, the supercomputers nowadays, I don't think you can trust any video that comes out nowadays, because you were saying they can't duplicate it. I mean, have you watched a movie in the last 5 years?
Yeah, but if you can't duplicate it, because a lot of these videos are old. These are like VHS recorded shit, and it's like,
I'm talking about new,
the
like
quality alone. There's nothing you can do.
Right. I'm talking about stuff that comes out nowadays past a certain point. I don't think you can trust your eyes anymore when it comes to this, because it is so easy for people to make this look real nowadays.
Well, I've seen the news get fooled before. There was a Snapchat filter that was like alien invasion or some shit, and a news station out in the Southwest, they fucking, the yokels that they are, they fucking fell for it. But I think when it comes to like hardcore evidence, I mean, there is so many whistleblowers that are high up in the government. You had the Canadian Prime Minister, who, as soon as he stepped down, did a 40-fucking-minute interview about it. You got another guy, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was showing pictures of him hanging out with the fucking aliens, pictures of the craft that they were working on. and it was his deathbed confession. That video was on YouTube for like 6 or 7 years after he fucking died, and then it became big, and people started posting screenshots from it, debating whether or not it's real, this, that, and the third. He had no reason to lie. It's his deathbed confession. I worked with these things. This is the evidence that I've kept my entire life, and here you go. Have at it. Do with it what you will.
So I want to get to Jason real quick, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
1 second.
So when War of the Worlds first came out, they made it a radio show, and that was a test. And people believed that it was really an alien invasion, and it was recorded.
I remember that. Yeah, when it was on the radio, not the movie.
H.G. Wells.
Yeah, H.G. Wells. Yeah, some people actually killed themselves because it was like a test to see how would the American public react to alien invasion and the truth that they're here. And so that was the first government test. I believe it was the 1950s, possibly. And
it was like the 20s. It was like the teens, 20s.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, during the radio era. And people actually kill themselves. And so so we can't do. We have to slow it down. We have to let it out slowly, And so that was like one of their first experiments. From my
so the modern equivalent to that was, do you remember those drones over New Jersey last year?
I do.
So that was all complete bullshit. And every time I would watch one of the, even Joe Rogan would talk about it, and these people would they're speculating and they're talking about all these things. Never once did anybody provide video of a drone the size of a fucking truck flying around. They didn't show any videos of any of these things that people said, or the people that said that they tried to fly their drone up to it and it just wouldn't go. It would just die. Nobody proved any of these claims. And I think that there was the second version, the modern version of H.G. Wells. I think that was that they showed that public hysteria. People are going to believe everything that they see. They're gonna want to be, go viral with being the one breaking the news and shit like that. But we believed all of it with no fucking evidence. And you've got people like Joe Rogan level type people talking about the shit like it's real. And it's okay, but again, we didn't see anything.
No.
Whereas there's plenty of stuff out there that happens that we can see, we can measure. We do have, people looking into certain things. Most notably recently is those mummies down in South America.
Mummies in South America.
The giant
ones?
Yeah.
No, the tridactyl ones.
Tridactyl. Okay.
Yeah, the Peruvian mummies. So they had found there was a bunch of them that came out. A couple of them were faked, but there is a couple that they did X-rays and scans on, and they have the full bone structure. One of them even still has a baby inside it. All of it tridactyl. Now, then the reason I say that that's a point of contention is because when they did DNA testing on elongated skulls found in Peru, they weren't able to figure out who the paternal DNA was from. They were only able to find the maternal DNA. Now, this skull was over 4,000 years old, but it had DNA in it that matched people from Scotland and Ireland. How would that be possible?
What was the name of the mummy again? Because I'm not finding anything as far as this thing goes, besides that hoax that came out.
I don't remember. They're the Peruvian mummies. I don't remember exactly what they're called. I've been drinking all day. Well, since I got off work.
That's fair.
Yeah, there's a lot of hoax out there too, bro. So you gotta watch out for that. And so that's what makes progress in this field of study so difficult, because there's a lot of hoaxes, and people putting stuff out there to try to make money off it, and it clouds the truth,
But how much of that is controlled opposition? Now, we were talking about David Grush, and we're talking about some of these whistleblowers. I personally cannot believe a whistleblower if you keep your security clearance. Period. That guy that worked with
they're part of the game. They're part of the game. They're part of the pawns in the chess game.
Yeah, that guy that works with what's his face from Area 51. Can't remember his fucking name. That's embarrassing. Don't remember his fucking name. But yeah, any one of them that keep their security clearance, you can't trust them. That's controlled opposition, especially when they were talking about that video of the pyramid UFOs, the night vision video. Even after it's already been debunked to have been a lens issue, they keep playing it like it's real footage. It's real footage, but it's drones. It's a bokeh effect from the triangle lens of the night vision camera that was being used. But people keep saying it like it's a real thing, and they keep playing the video like it's real footage. Meanwhile, we've got... Go ahead.
I remember in the 90s, a similar thing happened. I believe it was over Arizona. One of those lights popped up in Arizona, the triangular lights.
Yeah,
it was
96.
Huge, just sitting there, bro. And it was there. It was saw it live. They try to say it was air balloons, whatever. There's no way, bro. They were too bright, they were too big, and they sat there for hours just sitting there, bro. You know, and
Now, if we want to get into why it's such a secretive thing and how they're able to keep it such a secret, we have to keep in mind that the government's been knowing about that. This has been a known issue since the 30s. There has been 3 other crashes before Roswell even happened that people aren't even aware of. And by the time Roswell had came around, they had pretty much got a good procedure down. The only part that slipped was the first original story to the newspaper about it being a flying saucer. Obviously, we all know how they redacted it. Took pictures with weather balloon parts and was like, "Oh, yep, sorry,
It was a weather
here."
balloon.
There it is.
It was a shiny balloon.
That's always their answer for it. It's a weather balloon.
Yeah,
even the Chinese spy floating over us was a weather balloon.
Okay, that one might be a weather balloon though.
But so up until that point in American history with the government, we were working towards anti-gravity up into the late 40s, post-World War II, up into the 50s. Now, everything scientific, all the magazines, all the shows, everybody talking about these things was anti-gravity was the next best thing, was the next thing to come out that's going to revolutionize America. In 1957, that stopped. You stop hearing anything about anti-gravity. Everything shifts towards whatever the fuck they're talking about at that point. Because in 1957, we cracked it. We perfected anti-gravity. There's even videos out there of these aircraft companies showing off their UFOs. They had a summit where the government was bidding on contracts to which design that they were going to pay for and use.
I'm just looking up American-made flying saucers.
In a matter of years, we went from biplanes, which were practically flown with propellers and rubber bands, to the B-2 Spirit bomber, the B-21 Raiders, F-22 Raptors, almost overnight. You know, and
it's insanity.
Yeah. There's no way that we jump from biplanes to Raptors in such a short amount of time, bro.
Now how do we pay for that? We pay for that stuff, and it's expensive as fuck, especially when you're trying to keep it secret, and you've got to pay these people exorbitant salaries to keep them quiet. You know.
You want to see a short video real quick of a real flying saucer, quote unquote, from 1974?
Good.
It's real short. Sharing screen.
The HULs?
One solution to the famous flying saucer mystery may have been discovered by American police in Maryland, who came across this plane-looking aircraft while searching for inventor Jonathan Colville, who recently disappeared. It certainly could fill the bill, but whether it's the original flying saucer, no one yet knows.
No one knows if it's the original flying saucer or not.
And they always have the same voice in the old movies. It's like the same guy. It narrate all those old films from the 1950s.
Yeah, it's like the same guy doing every.
I like that though. It's the way they talk, that transatlantic accent. I love that shit. Yeah. That old timey talk. I love that shit.
It's classic. It's classic.
Would you like to know more?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you fast forward through the 70s, you know, we've been funding these programs. We have a joint space program with Russia all throughout the Cold War. Why would we do that unless there's something up there? You know what I mean?
Well, but probably in order going on with the Germans as well, because in
order to fund all this stuff, they used the drugs. They were using the heroin from the 70s after they, collapsed Frank Lucas, into the 90s with the cocaine when they started using remote viewers to trap shipments of cocaine and to track down the cartel leaders and make deals with them. So by the time you get to 2001, a week before 9/11, we had more than $2.6 trillion missing from the budget that was just unaccounted for. Where the fuck do you hide $2.6 trillion fucking dollars?
Yeah, I want to look at what Wood Booger said. Lazar said some recoveries were archaeological finds, so that would denote that they were not fresh. How would they know where to look for archaeological finds of aliens? Or is he talking about in summation, like the stuff they've collected over the years from different countries?
Well, I mean, when you're digging for stuff could just be there. You know what I mean? Fair. Now, there's an artifact called the Wedge of Ayud, which was found in Russia by these miners or whatever the fuck they were doing. but it's literally this hunk of metal that looks like a piece of a landing gear. It's solid aluminum. It's got patina on it that rates it to, it was 30 feet below the ground, rating it at like 20,000 years old or whatever the fuck they said. But that's an archaeological find. Nobody was making aluminum not even 3,000 years ago, let alone 20,000 fucking years ago.
And see,
it's not something that you can just find.
And sometimes with that kind of stuff, a lot of times I got to think, like, is this true? Did you actually find that down there? I mean, if it looks like a piece of landing gear, it's got patina, it's aluminum, something that humans would make. It's like,
but you can't fake a patina.
Validity.
You can't fake a patina, though. You can't. Not one that rates at 20,000 fucking years old, especially when you carbon date it. Well, how do you fake carbon dating?
So if you cut that, they chop that aluminum in half.
Yep, they cut a piece of it. Metal. Yep. That's exactly what they did. I'd like to
see this study post-show.
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
They wouldn't use carbon dating. They would use radioactive dating.
Yeah, that's the one. Radioactive dating. Radiocarbon, whatever the fuck they call it.
Carbon dating is for wood, bone, and flesh and stuff like that. Radioactive dating is somewhat different. It's more accurate than carbon dating. Carbon dating only goes back so far. Carbon 12, it breaks down, and and they measured the half-life of it. The same with radioactive dating. So if carbon dating, you can't go back too far with carbon dating. I forget exactly how to go back with it, but radioactive dating, it can go back forever. Yeah, and that's
on the subject of Bob Lazar and talking about some of them being archaeological finds. I mean, Bob Lazar also talked about that in where he worked at S4, he saw a file fucking thick as hell. I mean, we talked about this on the podcast you were on last time about religion and how human beings are just containers. They didn't specify what kind or for what, but that we're just containers. I personally believe that, when you get to the alien aspect of it, that is part of it. They're harvesting your vibrational being. When you die, we're just the vessel. The part that's you, that fourth dimensional part that is you and everything you ever were or will be goes on. And now, however you lived your life is going to decide what happens to you. Now you could have a choice in the matter, which I think we have a choice in the matter. But,
see, Jason, what I think we have here with Sly is an opportunity for one of us to bring him to our side because he's so close. He believes. He believes.
He believes. It's either okay. So in the Hebrew Kabbalah, he was called Kli. A Kli actually means vessel, right? But we're vessel for spirit, and not vessel for alien. We're vessel for spirit, bro. And so in a sense, we are vessels. This is true, but we're vessels for the spirit up there or down there, right? And so we are kind of vessels, but again, we're called Kli in the Hebrew Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism, and so we are kind of vessels in a sense, but not for aliens.
Yeah, that's why they bring up like the word temple. We are temples for the spirit that we have inside us. But one thing,
go ahead.
Yeah. God, I just forgot what I was talking about. Spirits,
vessels.
Oh yeah. I got it. So what you're saying, and I know you're gonna be like, what the. Is it almost sounds like the Scientology creation where Xenu stuck a bunch of spirits inside people and they started acting amok, and you have to get your thetans right.
I mean, look, man, some of it sounds like bullshit, but I mean, if you take the Bible and all the stuff that happens and all the divinity that happens in the Bible, and you take away the divinity and you put it to nuts and bolts, flesh and blood beings and technology and misunderstood technology and misrepresented technology, you have a completely different fucking story.
Wait. What technology
in general? Since when does fucking God need a vehicle to come down from heaven?
Well, the definition of vehicle is different for that. He's not talking about
when it comes down with thunder and smoke and fire. That sounds a lot like a rocket landing, if you ask me.
Well,
it's made of metal and shit. I mean, when you have these like Ezekiel's wheel and they talk about like the stuff that they see, this isn't just some ghost shit. This is misunderstood technology, in my opinion.
That's according to you, though. I don't think that if God wanted to send an angel or if he wanted to come down, he has all right to confuse us, look weird, look scary, like, Go ahead, Jason.
I'm with you, Pat. Those are spiritual experiences by a mystic. All the writers of the Bible were mystics. They experienced it for themselves, and they describe them the best way that they can. Back in the days, they didn't have rocket ships. They didn't have all this crazy stuff, right? So they experienced what they saw, and it's like it was unfathomable to them, right? And they explained only their visions and what they saw. right?
Yeah,
And
and that kind of it helps your point too, Sly, because what Jason basically is saying, it's in that time period they only had so many references to speak about what they saw. So if
right.
they've never seen something like that before, they're
That's
just
what I'm
going to
saying.
say,
It's
"Fuck, it's got
it's
eyeballs." And
misunderstood technology, right? And each of those
according to
eyeballs is a
you,
blinking light. Like, but there's only so many ways you can interpret that. And if you take away the divinity of it and you take away the magic aspect of it, and you're left with just the nuts and bolts, flesh and blood, you're left with a different story. You're left with a more believable story, in my opinion.
well, that's the problem is you can't separate the miracles and you can't separate God from the Bible. Now you're just turning it into an epic. And that's not the point.
Any science or any what's it, any technology that is sufficiently advanced can be unmistakable from magic.
Yeah, but you'd see the same descriptions. You'd see, oh,
Right.
it has fire breathing from the back and it's moving really fast or something, or it's going straight up and down. They don't talk about any of the movement or anything like that. It's just appearances.
It descends from heaven. It appears and descends from heaven in a loud, thunderous roar with fire. That's pretty
Yes.
fucking tantamount to a rocket landing, in my opinion. Again, and that's
Well,
just
it could be,
You
but
know,
it also could be lightning coming down and causing a fire. Go ahead, Jason.
as a mystic, because again, the people who wrote these scriptures were mystics, right? As a mystic, I'm a mystic. If you practice mysticism, you get a meditation, you will see this stuff for yourself. You experience the spiritual realm for yourself and see that it's not aliens. It is actual. The spiritual realm exists, bro. And for those of us who practice, we see it for ourselves, you know. And also not just ourselves. We our initiates. We communicate with our initiates, and they see the same things we see. We collaborate. You know, if entity is seen by one of our initiates, I can describe to him what it looks like. I could draw for him. They see, okay, that's him. You know, that's it. You know, and so it can be experienced, but you have to be a practitioner. You have to be someone who's religious and someone who actually gets involved with spirit, with spirituality. And you will see that it's not technology. It's not you know, some ancient stuff, whatever. It's the spiritual realm, and you can see it for yourself. And if you practice, you will see and you will know. And that's where I'm coming from.
but see, that's where I don't disagree as well, because I am a practitioner. I've done the meditation. I know how to not astrally project in like the terms that, because it sounds stupid when you say it out loud, but like I have been able to do these things. I have achieved center through meditation. I know how to do it. I've achieved it through lucid dreaming. And it's not that I don't believe that all this stuff is for real. It's not that I don't believe in a spirit realm or anything like that. I think all of it's fucking true. All of it is. But I think there's varying degrees of it. It's just this one fucking thing. I think it's more along the lines of like, let's break it down like this. Like the spirit realm is a fucking country. And in that country, there's different states. And you can go to different states of being, and different states of different beings are there, different things are there, whatever the case may be. And I think that's how I look at it. I look at it as the universe is infinite with infinite possibilities. And each one of them is fucking true. Because why else would they be written if they weren't?
Okay, but then how does the alien factor fit into our creation, right? Because, I mean, because if you admit that spirit exists, then you know, I would say you must admit that the spirit created us. You know, like why do aliens have to be involved in our creation?
So what explains that for me, and I have this I've been kind of tumbling with that question a lot lately, and I think the answer that I've come up with is I don't think everybody has a soul. I think that you have to have consciousness. You have to have inner monologue, and not everybody has one, because there's a limited amount
No.
of consciousness.
You
And I think
you
that
so?
I
There's a
think
limited
I think
amount of
there's
souls?
I think there's a limited amount of souls and a limited amount of consciousness, and it just keeps getting recycled and recycled. And I think that's why religion
Buddhism.
plays so hard. Yeah, and I believe in reincarnation and stuff like that, because again, the it's physics in itself. You can't have something destroyed and it just goes nowhere. It gets recycled. Everything in the universe that gets destroyed is recycled in some fucking manner. And it can't just be the end with our souls. It can't just be the end with our consciousness. But again, everybody doesn't have that. And I think that there's a thing that people talk about sometimes when they became conscious, like, and a lot of that's tantamount to remembering your first memory. And I think that
Yeah.
the fact that we become conscious at different points in our life is that we are just the empty vessel until whatever soul it is clings to us, and then now we're whoever we were before, but in a new, adventure, and however you want to put it.
Yeah, that's
So
wild.
one of the things that the Nazis taught was that the Jews did not have souls. They taught that they were animals and they were not human. You know, so I'm not saying you're thinking that, but but that's kind of their reasoning as to why they slaughtered the Jews, because they believed that the Jews did not have souls. They believed that they were vessels and they were unworthy. They were not humans. You know, so
Well, that's what the Jews believe about the rest of us. Everybody who's not a Jew
that's true too.
is a
That's true
fucking
too.
goyim. So
They're
I
the
mean,
biggest-
you know,
that's true.
Well,
They're
and
the biggest
Muslims
fucking
think the same way.
right?
Yeah,
Christians think the same way. If you're not saved, you're a piece of
No.
shit.
That doesn't mean we think you don't have a soul.
So how about we all stop thinking that people don't have souls and start thinking we all
Yeah.
have souls? You know what I'm saying? And how about we do that? You know, and why are we perpetuating beliefs that attempt to slaughter entire peoples? You know, even though I admit that Israel, the Israelites are the biggest racists on the planet, but and they're still crying about what happened to them 75 years ago. But that doesn't make them be soulless, right? You know, in my opinion.
I mean,
One second. Let's not devolve this into Jews and Israel and Islam. Let's
Don't
stay
get
on
me
the
started.
alien
Don't
topic.
get me started, man.
Aliens, guys, aliens.
Aliens. Let's get back to aliens.
So I have a question. We're gonna go back to aliens.
Run it back.
So
I do apologize.
every damn show.
Don't apologize. I do it all the time.
No, yeah.
I'm just saying.
So, what in modern age, what kind of evidence would you need to see that you could actually say this is real? Because, like I was talking about earlier, nowadays with video editing and super and AI and things like that, it's unbelievably easy to fake a passable video. You know, not something that can be studied. If you took the video and you studied it and looked it up and think, you'd be like, oh, this is bullshit. But just on like a pass-by basis, you know, what would you have to see that would denote like this is actually a real video of something we don't understand versus this is AI or something like that?
That's
Either
hard
or.
to say. That's hard to say, but I would say, for example, not videos, but look at the Nazca lines. The Nazca lines are massive images and hieroglyphs written on the ground, which cannot have been created without aerial vision, right? So I would say not video, but Nazca lines I would say are evidence for for something else that created those,
Mhm.
and I would assert that aliens have been here, and that's my opinion.
Do you guys have an opinion either or on this? The Yugas, the Wood Booger wants us to talk about the Yugas.
Say it again.
It's right there in the bottom. It says the Yugas.
I can't read it.
Why?
My phone's
Oh,
fucked
okay.
up.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
let me look real
Yugas.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Yugas, from my understanding, that's like an age or something in Hindu, right? The Kali Yuga.
Yeah. I'm pulling it up right now so we can talk about it.
Those are Hindu cycles. Those are Hindu cycles. The Kali Yugas, and right.
Yes. That's what
Similar
I'm
to like
checking
the Bakdunes of the Mayans and stuff like that. Yeah, everybody has their different ages.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so everything happens in cycles. Everything happens in cycles. We're present at the end of the present cycle, I would say, and the Yugas are the Yugas are definitely a part of our human history.
So I'm just reading because I've never heard about the Yugas before. Ages or epochs in Hindu cosmology.
So a Maha Yuga is a great cycle. A Maha Yuga, it's a large expanse of time. It has to do with the night of Brahman, the day of Brahman. The night of Brahman and day of Brahman are the ends and beginnings of new cycles of creation, and that's where the Yugas come into play. Those are cycles of time. Cycles of time do in fact transpire, and yeah. So that's
this is
it's about time and cycles.
Recycling. Okay.
Exactly.
When I think when you get down to well, it kind of is, because when you get down to like my point of view, it's also black and white. When you get down to the Far East and into India, into the Vedic text, the Brahma Sutra, the Brahma, the Mahabharata, they talk about these ancient civilizations that were super highly advanced, and the Nazis even used these as a means to create their anti-gravity weapons or their anti-gravity craft. And you can take, and this is my point, when you take the divinity out of these biblical texts and out of these, religious texts, you are left with a literal manual. You are left with the flesh and blood, nuts and bolts aspects of it.
Correct. But at the same time, I think it still takes someone to want to believe that what they are seeing is aliens versus spirits.
It
Like,
doesn't even have to be aliens so much as, if you take the stigma of the word alien and little green men, if you take that out of it and you just think of it as another Earth, just like us, who has their own governments, their own problems, their own fucking taxes, whatever the case may be, why couldn't that exist?
no, I'm
Just
saying those
because
are
we call
still
them
aliens.
aliens? Just
No,
because
they
we
are
call them
aliens.
aliens?
No,
Right,
I'm
but
using the word alien as a technical term here. They are
I
not
get
from
that. I
this.
get that,
Yeah,
but it's still a stigma, though. You still
that's
have
fair.
that, it still adds that layer of distance. You know what I mean?
Yep. I'm getting my favorite alien really quick. Sorry.
I would again
I thought I
reiterate.
was your favorite alien.
I would again reiterate that. That's cool. I like it.
Mars
dope.
Attacks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fuck yeah.
there you go. I would again reiterate that I'm someone who likes to have his cake and eat it too. I believe in both. I believe in ancient technological civilizations. There's proof of that, like Sly just mentioned. But I don't believe they created us. But I will say they have been there before. They'll be here again, and the U.S. government is trying to get us used to bringing them back, right? And so that's where I'm at. Again, I like to have my
Well,
cake.
and I don't disagree with that. There's definitely been several ages on the planet. There's definitely been several. I in a broad spectrum, I don't necessarily believe that life was seeded here. I think that life came here from Mars. I do believe that the destruction of Mars, per the Vedic texts, when Mars was flayed to death, they lost its atmosphere. There was some survivors that did come here and they stayed here. They brought with them their practices, their building practices, and through time, they assimilated. But we're talking 300,000 to 500,000, 2 million fucking years ago. That's long gone. Through how many times has the world been reset? Now, if you want to talk about the most recent times, and we talk about how 10, 12,000 years ago you have the Great Flood, and how every culture on the planet has a story about it, what we have, right? What we have is us as modern humans. I believe we are just an orphaned species. We were not seeded here. There was already different kinds of hominids throughout the planet. There's like 7 different species, all different kinds throughout the world. When these beings came here, or whatever you want to call it, the angels came down, whatever the fuck they were doing here, they needed somebody to do the actual lifting, to do the work. That's us. We're
Wait.
nothing more than the slave species. When you talk
Um,
about God making us in his image, yeah, they did, to make
so,
us fucking smart, because we're a subservient species.
so this brings up a great topic that me and Sly have talked about to no end. When it comes down to ancient construction, pyramids in specific, he believes that aliens came down and built the pyramids because they're stronger. Where I am
Not
like,
even necessarily aliens, but
I don't know. We have proven that the pyramids can be built with human hands using log moving and things like that, pulley systems.
no.
Yes, we
No, the fuck
have.
we haven't.
Yes,
That's
we
not
You're
that's
have.
not
telling me,
that's not
you're telling
impossible.
me that there's a tree in Egypt that was able to withstand the pressure from 40,000 fucking pounds. That there's
We
enough rope and enough manpower to move a 40,000 pound fucking brick several hundred feet up. It is not humanly fucking possible.
it
They have
is.
tried it, bro. They have
They have
tried it
tried it.
with
They've showed
wooden
it once.
rollers. They
They've
didn't
tried the
show it
rollers
once.
and
They haven't
screws.
done it to scale. Doing it in like a garage setting isn't doing it to scale. You're not moving 40,000 pound bricks up 300 feet. It's
So
not happening.
let's say I grant you in this debate that we don't understand it. Not understanding doesn't mean it didn't happen. I
Well,
mean,
clearly
I
it
don't, like
happened.
I
It
said,
exists.
no, it didn't happen by human hands. That's what I'm saying. Not understanding how they did it doesn't mean that it wasn't done. You can't, in my opinion, you can't just throw up aliens. Like, I don't understand it. It must have been aliens. I mean, do you have any opinions on this matter, Jason?
Okay, so it I would say that I think aliens were involved in some of the construction of the pyramids. Also Easter Island. There's a lot that they were involved in, I would say, but they didn't create that. My only argument is they did not create us, but I do believe they were here. They would be here again. And as a high priest, we are kind of privy to information that others are not, and one of the things we're privy to is that they have been here before and they'll be here again.
I'm going to put Woodbugger vibration. That's how we may have lost technology. You never know that either, because there could have been I have a redneck friend
that also is a factor.
He thinks we've been blown back into the caves like 5 times. Like it's restarted humanity because we keep nuking ourselves into which there's some crystals, I guess, in Nevada, some green crystals that show nuclear explosions or nuclear problems that go back way before recorded history.
No, what you're talking about is in India, and it's a town that was literally annihilated. And
that was the Gobi Desert.
Yeah, that's the one.
Gobi Desert. Okay, yeah.
That's the one.
So when they were looking at all these people, they're like, oh, something horrible obviously happened, and they were finding the bodies like literally frozen in place. Some of them were like trying to shield each other, or whatever. But the most telling part of it was that the skeletons themselves were fucking radioactive. They weren't allowed to do more research in it because there was just so much radioactivity from the skeletons themselves that because it was a nuclear destruction.
Well,
there is also in the Vedic text talk about it. For the life of me, I can't remember what the town is called because
technological warfare.
But yeah, the Vedic texts talk about nuclear warfare and stuff like that. That these vimanas, these flying crafts, had these weapons that can decimate a city in a matter of seconds in a bright flash of light, and that people who survived afterwards would lose their hair, lose their fingernails. They'd be covered in fucking boiled alive, essentially. These are nuclear weapons that are talked about in texts from several thousand fucking years ago.
So did they? I know I asked it a couple times. Did they date these bodies to see how old they are? I'm curious to see how old these bodies are.
The thing with radiation is when it has a really weird effect on carbon dating and radiocarbon dating.
That's true.
So if you take a tree sample from the nuclear tests in Nevada, it shows that it's from 30,000 years in the future.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. So knowing that tells me that any of these readings we get, if there was some kind of nuclear destruction, that pushes our history back 30,000 years. So when it says it was 12,000 years ago, it was probably 40,000 years ago, but the nuclear radiation is fucking with our testing. In not every case, in some of these cases, sure. But I mean...
And just a thought, like, how bad or how massive does your nuclear bomb have to be to still show radioactivity 30,000 years after the bomb went off? Like that stuff should have seeped into the ground. It should have, dispersed.
Well, look at Mars. Mars is covered in xenon 129. That is a weapons grade signature. That only happens from a detonated nuclear weapon. Now,
it could happen naturally on Mars.
It didn't happen naturally. It really couldn't have. Now, what I find funny though is when we talk about the ancient Indian texts and they talk about the god being flayed and all this stuff, and them using a lightning weapon and sending it to destroy that planet. What scientists did, there's this thing called the Great Scar on Mars, the Valles Marineris, that big fucking massive valley there. Mm-hmm. So what scientists were trying to figure out is how that happened. And what they came up with was they took Mars soil and ran an electrical current through it, and it showed the same pattern. So what they're thinking is some massive cosmic lightning bolt must have struck Mars, stripping it of its atmosphere and destroying the planet itself, which matches up with the Vedic text.
It could be
Zeus or Brahma or whomever. Brahma is basically the Indian Zeus, so it's like it's very plausible.
So on that tip, I would like to talk about the Anunnaki and the old Sumerians and all that ancient text, because I know you have a lot of information about the Anunnaki and who they are. So go ahead and explain what the Anunnaki are and kind of like what they were here for.
So essentially, their planet was in trouble. They needed gold to stabilize their atmosphere. They were an industrialized society, much like ourselves. They came here, began to mine gold. Well, in that process, they realized how fucking hard it is. And a lot of their people were like, look, we're not doing this. We got to figure something out. So they took a lot of the hominid species that were here and mixed them with, when they say their essence, that means they're fucking with their DNA. They took the DNA from the primate males here and mixed it with their own. They ended up getting a lot of problems. Some of them turned into giants. Some of them had a lot of issues, right? Well, when they took a human female or a an ape, whatever hominid female and mixed it with their DNA, it worked. They were able to have a species that was tailored to be, smart enough to understand and form language and take instructions well, but not too smart, which is us. And when they were done mining the gold and we were done helping them with it, in exchange for our labor and our work, they gave us civilization. They taught us how to make cities. They taught us how to farm. They taught us animal husbandry.
So with the Anunnaki, is there any text, and I'm not talking about any kind of ancient text, but something, peer reviewed or otherwise, that could actually show us that they even existed?
Well, you don't even need a text for that. What you need, in my opinion, the greatest smoking gun is the gene that is responsible for our higher thought, the gene that's responsible for the capability to talk, art, higher thinking, and stuff like that. The chemical compounds that are required to mutate our gene to make that specific function is tantamount to taking a 747 jet, taking it all apart down to the nuts and bolts, leaving it on the runway, right? Having a tornado go through that wreckage, and then on the other side of it, that plane is back together functioning perfectly. That's the amount of genetic chaos that would have to happen for that to happen in nature and not be of intelligent design. So I do believe in intelligent design. I absolutely fucking do. Okay. But not from God the creator, but from some intelligent beings that came here at some point.
Okay, so the intelligent, that's what I was going to get at is, you say it's so hard to do this. It's not hard for God to do that. But when you attribute it to technology from another sentient being, whereas I'm contributing it to God, this is how he works. So yeah, I wanted to hear Jason's opinion on that overall.
I'm with Pat on that, bro. I believe in intelligent design theory. I believe evolution is a fact. I believe that evolution is a means of creation. That's how the Big Bang happened. That's how the planets were formed. That's how life came about. And I believe it was intelligently guided. The mammals were on Earth, and God used these to form or to evolve them into Homo sapiens. We have Australopithecus, we have Homo habilis, we have Homo erectus, and that goes online. And I believe is intelligent design towards us, Homo sapiens, which is approximately 200,000 years old.
So I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with evolution at all. But when we get to the point of that missing link that separates us from our last common ancestors 300,000 years ago,
I would say God.
It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't. Nature just doesn't just evolve like that. You can't just go through millions of years in evolution technically overnight. It just doesn't happen that way. Not at least without intelligent design or an intelligent push.
Yeah, they're definitely. I concur. There definitely was intelligent design involved, and my honest opinion is that it was guided by the gods, and evolution is the means of creation, right? And
tinkering.
I believe the gods had a part in it, and that's how it came about. They also created.
What time BC do they date us as far as humans as we know it now being vertical?
Okay,
300.
So
300 BC?
300,000.
300,000 BC?
Yeah.
Or like 200,000 roughly.
That's the scientific view on it?
Yes, Cro-Magnon was around 35,000 years ago. Neanderthal man was also around the same time. So the number of species alive at the time, but Homo sapiens is one that rooted out, and we're the ones that became predominant on the earth, and the other ones died out. But
that would make sense why we don't have text too, because before we get to the Bible and things like that, it's all drawings. Like even the ancient Egyptian, they started with hieroglyphs.
So how do we explain then all these different Homo sapien types that were all surviving and thriving in different corners of the world? You've got certain phenotypes of humanoid that were sort of limited to this island here. You've got another set that were literally look like hobbits that were on this section here. None of these coincided with each other. You've got different hominids throughout the entire planet.
They intermingle though, bro. We have Cro-Magnon, Neanderthal, and Homo sapiens are actually around the same time. There's different places.
Yeah, but how do you get that spread with given that you have different types of hominids living at the same time throughout the entire planet, how do you get that spread of just the Homo sapiens? So you mean to tell me that each one of these vastly different offshoots of modern human all just came back? So we went from a genetic bottleneck to diversity back to a genetic bottleneck? I don't understand how that could be, in my opinion.
They again with the evolutions is survival of the fittest. The one that proved to be most fit for the advancement of civilization on this earth is the one that went out, which was Homo sapiens.
It's the smartest ones, the ones with the.
But it's that gene. It's that gene that separates us from the apes that was responsible for speech and higher thought. That gene that was given to us by our creator, whether that be a divine creator or the beings that came here.
And see, I think that would defy your conventional idea of evolution, because if it takes creation from an outside source, you're not evolving from apes, you're being changed from apes to something else.
But see, here's the thing, though. I think that carbon-based life is definitely 1,000% proven to be thriving throughout the universe, because we've already found the building blocks for life, literally us, the building blocks for humans in comets. So if that comet was to land on a watery world, much like Earth, in a very moderate temperature, who's to say that over 2-3 million years you wouldn't end up with another civilization like ours? It's very fucking plausible. You can't deny that, because it's already been proven. The building blocks for life have already been proven. Panspermia is a theory that has been proven.
It's fair. I mean, we can go back to Pangea and all that kind of things too, or before the continents separated. And, you know, if everything was around back then, of course there was going to be intermingling. I think something Jason was talking about that I found interesting is even in modern day, you can go to certain places in South America. You can go out to the Philippines and mostly in South America, but you can find islands where people look exactly like the Neanderthals from whenever they were here. You okay, Jace?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm here.
Yeah. Like some of those islands they go over with the really dark skinned guys, the really flat faces and things like that. It looks like some of the stuff that were on like some of the sculptures in the Mayan world and the Aztec world.
Right. Yeah, it's part of evolution, bro. And again, in nature, survival of the fittest, the one that proved to be the most fitting for the advancement of life on this earth is the one that ran out, and that was the Homo sapiens.
Yeah, and I think another reason why you see everybody looking similar nowadays, like obviously none of us here look the same, but it's intermixing like we were talking about. So, you know, if you stay on an island for your whole life, you're never going to have different DNA to interact with, and it's going to be a lot of, you know, ancestral DNA as well. So that's
but see how much of that was directed and targeted, because some of these really isolated populations do have mutations that differ from the average modern human.
It's kind of what happened with the Habsburg, the Habsburgs of the ancient, the rulers of.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah,
the Habsburg
yeah,
jaw.
yeah, they're all jacked up. The Habsburgs because they taught only to interbreed to keep the line pure. They had massive jaws, and they became somewhat deformed. And but I would say that was an example of the result of this intermingling with your own people, and
you can even see people today that have that Habsburg lineage. That jaw still sticks out way. I think the shooter for Trump he had a Habsburg on him.
So on the subject of royal lineage, there was a few years ago, there was like a high school student or whoever the fuck, she was doing this thing for her class about the lineage of the U.S. presidents. Now, every single U.S. president except for one has a common ancestor tracing all the way back to the fucking crown. Now, when you look into who this ruler was that they have the common ancestor, you can't find anything. The guy basically just shows up out of nowhere with a fuck ton of money, a man of status and a man of culture. He has a castle and shit built or whatever the fuck. This family just came out of fucking nowhere, and they've been running our country since.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about the elites in general, I mean, we don't have any control over that, it seems. So,
but I think the most applicable evidence to me about aliens being real and them having a measurable and tangible effect on our society is the fact that there's just so much evidence coming out of whistleblowers over the last 50, 60 fucking years that there's no way around it. There's no way around it. I firmly believe that like movies like Men in Black are accurate. We definitely have a federation. There's definitely a gateway that they can come here and visit and shit.
Hey, my co-creator from Let You Know podcast, NOOZ, has joined us. Maybe.
Yo.
His mic is not on.
What's
There he
happening,
is.
y'all?
There he
brother?
is.
There you go.
What's
Yeah, like I
good?
said, I would like to
What's
introduce
the
everybody on the podcast.
It's all
my buddy
quiet. What's going
NOOZ.
on?
Oh,
We trying to hear what you
winding down
trying
a
to
little
say.
bit. Well, we're trying to figure it out.
What happened?
Yeah, let's see what you got.
Yeah, what do you got? We're talking about aliens here. Do you got any questions about aliens? We've covered quite a few different things.
No, I haven't heard. I just got off work. I got your link. I wanted to jump in. I knew you was talking about aliens, but I don't know what y'all talked about already.
We're
The one
fucking all
thing-
over the place. We've been hop skipping and jumping.
Yeah.
Hey, Naki.
So I'm assuming everybody here believes in aliens, right?
To a
To
certain
a
extent.
degree. To a degree. Some of us more than
I'm
others.
a person that I haven't believed that we've come in contact. I've never seen one. I've never seen good enough evidence. But I do believe that it's logically sound to believe that aliens probably exist.
And the argument is, to what degree have they existed in our civilization? Did they create us? Have they been here? What has been influence on us? Stuff like that.
Yep. And
Yeah, I talk to people, and a lot of people, Christians and everything, they think God created the aliens too. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on now.
well, yeah, that's what I believe.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. It doesn't.
You believe
just
that God created aliens too?
Yes, because if we believe God is the creator, then he has to create aliens as well. It's under his purview. Just because in the Bible it doesn't say God created aliens doesn't mean he didn't create aliens. There's probably tons of stuff that he did that we don't have recorded in the Bible. So
But why would you lean towards God creating aliens? That sounds crazy.
no, because if God is the creator, he's not just the creator of us, he's the creator of all things, and he would have to be the creator of aliens.
Well, I think when they say of all things, I think they're talking about upon Earth.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
So you think that when they say God's the creator, that he created the stars and Mars and Venus and everything like that too?
Well, it's possible, Evan. I mean, what other explanation do you have? Because you have to have a creator for these things. There has to be a start point. You can't, like the Big Bang doesn't even make sense. You can't have literally nothing. We're talking about no atoms, nothing, and just blank. And then boom, everything just kind of shoots out of it. It doesn't work like that. Even science admits nowadays that's wrong. They're working on a different theory now.
So what's the point of space? Why did he create space? Why would you say God created space? What was his point of that?
I don't know. We don't have to know everything. I mean,
I'm just
Jason
saying, if you're going to go there, I mean, we might as well try to dig. I mean, just throw something out there. We don't know. It ain't like we wrong or right.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we don't know, but I do believe the creation. Yeah. And I kind of wanted to transfer this to Jason to hear a more eloquent version of what I'm trying to say, probably.
Okay, so what we're getting at is that yes, evolution is a fact. The Big Bang happened. Space, it's out there because it is necessary for life, right? And we were created, I believe, through evolution. And if we posit that we're created through evolution and there's a God, then why not there be other life forms? It's not saying that we're not calling them aliens. We're calling them other life forms. Life.
Yeah.
God created life.
Aliens is just the word that we have to use.
Yeah.
Well, how about we call them pussies then? If we're gonna call them aliens, because if anything, that goddamn
That's
created.
gonna come though. I probably say that someone in their face, but hey, all right.
I'm just saying, y'all motherfuckers is coming down and in the middle of the night when motherfuckers ain't looking and running and going back. That's pussy shit.
Well, and that's a good
Come at me
point.
when I'm awake, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right. Yeah.
Like, do we believe in the probing stories and things like that? Is that something?
Yes, absolutely.
We'll get into that. I mean, there has been some evidence, but I'd like to see, and I can probably look this up myself, some physical evidence on humans that would say this wasn't done by something on Earth.
I believe it because I'm 40 years old and I've been probed by my doctor.
That's true. You have been probed. Multiple times he's been probed. It's a sad story.
So
really.
it makes logical sense for someone to be probed
colonoscopies
for health reasons or getting some information. It makes sense for it to
gotta
actually
check
happen.
the oil.
Yeah, I got to get one soon. Damn it.
No, I'm just saying it makes sense for people to get some sort of information through it, because obviously the doctors here are doing it, so it's not too far-fetched to say, hey, maybe they are sticking something in our ass to get some sort of information from us.
Well, there's also, it's not even so much sticking it in the asses. There's even people that come back from they have these experiences, whatever. They find things left behind in them
Yeah, that's
that
what I want to
are
talk about.
like under their skin and shit, that like their internal skin cells have now grown around in some cases, and they have to get them surgically removed. Now, when they
Is it
did,
like what surgically removed?
they look like little BBs almost, right? Like they're the size of small BBs. And when they did a metallurgical test on some of them shown that they were made from metals that were only found in space. Some of them were made from meteoric metals, which is why the fuck would that be there? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there was a movie that came out. I'm trying to find it. I
I
can't
also
remember
saw a movie not too long ago. It's a movie / documentary. It's on YouTube for the free movies on YouTube. I forgot what the title is, but it's back like in the 70s or maybe the 60s. It was it's like 5 white dudes, and they was all best friends and shit. They were young at the time.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about? They
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. And I believe that story for 5 or 6 dudes, because like I said, I've never seen them myself, but when I hear other people's stories, it logically makes sense, and I believe them dudes, because there's no reason to lie.
So for the people that are watching, there's a documentary on Tubi you can watch called Missing 411. This guy was a detective. He started noticing that people were going missing from national parks, and there's 411 cases more now that have no logical explanation. These people literally just fucking disappeared. Now, he has another documentary out under the same name called The Hunted, where he interviews a couple of people that got taken. And the one guy talks about it, and he was a hunter. He was out, shooting deer or whatever. The deer he shot just stayed still. It looked like it was like frozen in place. He gets taken, whatever, wakes up on the ship. He's talking to these fucking beings, and he's like, well, what do you want with me? What the fuck are we doing here? Send me home. And they said to him, just wait right here. Somebody's going to come for you. You're not what we're looking for. And he wakes up back where he fucking landed. And by that point, the sheriff is coming looking for him. His wife's coming looking for him, whatever. And he's in the hospital, delirious, but he's writing. He's writing down everything that happened, everything he can remember, right? So when they go back over what he was talking about, he overheard them say, this man had a vasectomy. He's no good to us. And they sent him home. So
just because he couldn't use his balls?
Because he couldn't use his balls. So like that tells me that they're looking for genetic material. If this guy can't nut, he's no good to these fucking aliens. You know what I mean?
That's terrible. He can serve a lower purpose or something. He can work on the ship or maybe.
But in the interview, he says, what keeps him up at night is what would have happened to me if I would have never had the vasectomy. That's what fucking got me, because what the fuck would have happened to this guy? You know what I mean?
They probably would have milked him and sent him back anyways.
I mean, probably, but still.
I mean, it could be a propofol dream too.
Well, because he talked to them and he asked them, like, well, what are you guys doing down here? Like, what the fuck's the deal? And they keep saying the same thing. Like, they come down, they hunt deer, they come down for fish, and then they go back to wherever the fuck they came from, or wherever they lay their head.
And what's fucked up in that one documentary, not fucked up, but what's interesting is, because the dude was missing for like 5 days. When they all went to the woods, they saw his friend go up in the air and everything. They saw the spaceship. They heard the loud beeping. Like I said, it's like 6 of them. They all said the same story, right? The friend go missing for like 5 days, and then he just appears, comes back. They said he came back with a whole beard and everything. The dude thought he had been gone for like, the experience that he gave was like a 15 to 20 minute experience. But they said, dude, you've been gone for like a week, or I forgot how long he had been gone, but he said it didn't even feel like it was that long. And
so there's been that time dilation. That time dilation experience has happened in history as well. You've got stories of some people that were taken by angels. They get taught all these things, and then they come back down. Yep. Centuries have passed. For them, it's only been like a year or two, but centuries have passed. People that they knew are gone. The cities look different. They're bigger. There's a lot of different shit going on.
Well, and so that would give you a logical base with aliens, because if the aliens took you and let's say they went light years away, you're going to age way different and way slower than the people that you left.
Well, that's what happened to Enoch.
In return.
Yeah, they said the dude was mad skinny, like he had lost like 30 pounds. They said he had a full grown, like he was. It was like, dude, feel your face. He started feeling his face and the shit was growing a beard and all that shit. It was like, damn. He's like, I thought I was only gone for like 45 minutes. It's like,
Yeah,
nah,
time
nigga, you gone for a
dilation.
week.
Time dilation is one of those things, and it's there's no explaining it, but other than that, it's real. You know,
Yeah, dog.
there's
That's
just
like
too much
all of
for
us
a
on this
coincidence.
podcast right now going out somewhere, and one of us ends up missing because they was threatening these niggas like, yo, y'all going to go to jail? Y'all know y'all going to jail for murder, right? Because nobody just go to the woods together and one of y'all don't come back. Something must have happened. Somebody got in a fight, and they were kids. They thought they was going to jail, and this motherfucker just pops up 5 days later, nigga. Crazy shit, guys. Crazy. I gotta believe. I believe it. Too many people, and then they said all their stories resembled other people's. You know, what I mean, that had been abducted. All their stories, the story they told.
Which is a very good point, because if you have matching stories and a lot of things happen, you know, like that's for me like a litmus test. If you got 5 different people that don't know each other and they come up with the exact same story of what goes on, like you can't argue that.
Yeah, well, I've never heard 5 people do that with God though.
Right. But if you couple all these stories with the 411 cases that are all the same, these people just go missing. There's no evidence of animal predation. There's like 6 or 7 different like check boxes that he does for each of these cases to like match what he's looking for. But like it's too coincidental. And I firmly believe that our government is selling us out to the aliens. I firmly believe that they have a deal with them to use our national parks as a hunting ground. Because who goes to national parks? A fine human specimen, a human specimen that's active, a human specimen that eats good. You know what I mean?
Why would aliens have to make a deal with our government? They could destroy our government with a button.
Because they're not nefarious. They're not nefarious. If they were violent, they would have taken us over by now.
Yeah, I told
that
you
doesn't mean they have to make a deal. Well, yeah. Come back to the
yeah, pussies. Yeah, I'm with you. They're pussies on that one. Yeah.
I'm not calling them aliens no more. From now on, we talk about them, nigga, we calling them pussies until they come down here and show their faces.
Yeah.
So a question on that with Project Bluebeam, which is a project by the government to basically fake an alien invasion to control power. If aliens came down because of how the U.S. government and how propaganda works, it almost seems like even if they were pussies, we'd shoot them out of the sky or try to anyways to start a war.
We did try. Just 3 weeks ago, they had that video of a Hellfire missile trying to take out a fucking, you know,
went right through
what happened to the missile? It didn't go through it. It exploded near it.
Same thing we would do if Jesus came back. We'd try to kill his ass again, too. I guarantee you we would.
Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Well, and that's very hard to do because, you know, in the Bible, Jesus can only be one way. So there's going to be a lot of false Christs that come before him. Yeah, that's a messy situation.
Resurrected today, somebody scared as fucking kill that nigga.
We just deported like 38 Jesuses.
Well, those Jesuses. But yeah, it's a very convoluted.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna change the subject.
But yeah, I think it comes down to evidence and what you can prove and what you can't. Because I've told Sly this many times, and what you've said tonight is concurrent with what we talked about. It does take belief, just like a religion, to believe in aliens. And
I'm gonna shut you down. I think there's more proof for aliens than there is religion.
Well, religion has faith. We're looking at aliens as a tangible, physical, scientific thing.
But as a mystic,
and there's more proof.
I'm rocking with Sly on
sees
that.
it for himself.
Let's go again.
You said, Jason?
I said, but as for a mystic sees religion for himself. A mystic does not have faith. A mystic gets down there and experiences this shit for himself, and then he or she sees that it is real, and those gods up and down there exist. I am a high priest.
I think the difference is there's no hope and faith involved when it comes to the alien. You don't need hope or faith to involve. You just need some logical. You don't. That's all it is.
Right, my position is I haven't seen that logical evidence to prove to me that aliens exist. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying
you've heard the bruh. You've heard the statistics.
Open your eyes, Pat. It's right in front of you, man.
You didn't have to watch the basketball game to know who won the game if I gave you the stats.
That doesn't correlate. That doesn't correlate. That's not the same thing.
It is the same thing. It's the same
not,
fucking
because
thing.
we can go afterwards and we can look at the stats and look at the game.
If we went through every alien documentary and every alien everything, that's enough statistics to say, hey man, this could be real.
Ancient Aliens has like 700 episodes and like 7 different spin-off series.
Shit, dude. Ancient aliens is
if you gentlemen were all mystics, you would have no questions. You'd have answers.
I don't want to be a mystic right now, Jason. Thank you very much.
and therefore you shall
I
never
like
know.
how you casually proposed it.
And therefore you shall never know.
And you will not be getting any donations after the show.
Nah. But I'm with Sly on that. I feel like there's more logic in aliens than there is logic in God.
Well, that's fair.
Because God doesn't demand your logic, though. God just demands your undying devotion and your undying belief in that this is the way. And I'm not going to negate that. I'm not going to shit on that. I refuse to shit on that. I firmly believe that every religion, including Satanism, is fucking correct. They're all correct. In this infinite universes and these infinite possibilities, how could they not be?
Well, and you also have historical archaeological sites and digs and datings and artifacts that go back to all the stories in the Bible. They've recently discovered that Jesus actually was a real man that lived in that time in that area.
But those stories from the Bible predate the Bible. We've had this debate a million times too. Those stories are all just retellings. All of them are retellings of ancient stories. You know?
Yeah, nobody's doubting that there's a guy named Jesus running around. That might have been
right.
real.
We all know that.
I mean, turning water to wine is a whole nother story now.
Right.
Oh, I thought Jason.
Like, there's a nigga named Houdini that lived once upon a time, but he was cutting himself in half.
Right, but we have info on that. We know how he did it. That goes back to your basketball point. Like, if you got a basketball game and you tell someone what happened, they don't have to believe that, because they can go on YouTube and they can rewatch the game. They can look at the stats. They can see what happened, you know. Whereas I have to do that too. Well, the difference is you have to question the footage. You can't just say it's real because I see it right here.
I mean, people or 100 people saying the same exact story that don't know each other is not enough proof for you?
That's different. That's different. I'm talking about video evidence and things like that. When you get into what you're talking about there with all the, like I said earlier, if I have 5 different people from 5 different places and they report the same exact experience in 5 different places, I got to believe those people, because there's no logic.
So then you have to, so by that logic, you have to believe the alien thing then, because if all of these ancient cultures that don't have an influence of an Abrahamic religion tell us that the star beings, the star brothers, the beings from other places came down and taught them how to do shit, you have to believe that.
Sly. No, I said that is something I could believe in, that I do believe is probable.
But every ancient religion ain't talking about Jesus, only Christianity.
No. Yes.
Well, every ancient religion has their own deity.
Or several. Most of them are polytheistic.
Yeah.
And don't let us get to white Jesus. Oh God.
Oh, God. That was. I wonder sometimes if
black Jesus.
Well, the thing is with Jesus in general, I wonder sometimes if you put what would be the real image, or at least close as to, considering where he was from in the time, how many people would drop their faith because he's not white.
Jesus was the first brown man lynched by the police.
Facts.
Yeah.
And he looks like Blanket. That's what Jesus would look like. Blanket right now. Y'all seen Blanket recently, Michael Jackson's son?
No.
Yeah.
That's what Jesus would look like. See if you can pull up a picture of Blanket in 2025.
Oh my God. Oh Jesus.
Literally.
Oh, Blanket.
Oh, Blanket.
Oh, Blanket.
I haven't heard that name in 10 years.
I think he goes by BG now. BIGI.
Name this
we might as well talk about Michael Jackson. I also heard that. Did you guys know that Randy Jackson?
It's not talking about Michael Jackson.
Did y'all know that Randy Jackson and Jermaine Jackson have 5 children by the same woman?
I mean, we're kind of derailing, but
I know, but we're talking about aliens, so we might as well talk about the Jacksons.
About Jackson aliens?
No, he's trying to say
Michael
he's trying to make a joke about the Jacksons being aliens.
You know what? I'm gonna fuck with you here. So I think.
Men in Black.
You ever see that movie They Live?
Well, yeah, of course.
Well, so they put on the fucking sunglasses and they can see, the world for what it is. It's ran by fucking aliens. Everything's run by aliens and shit. I firmly fucking believe that's what it is.
Sounds fire though.
I firmly fucking believe that's what it is.
Roddy Piper, and he has a wrestling scene for 20 minutes in an alley. And
it's 5 seconds. Fuck you.
So,
It's
so
like
that
20
then goes
minutes.
to the reptilian Christians, the reptilian alien extraterrestrials. They do not exist
You don't think
Why do they not
reptilians exist? Yeah, I want to know why.
because they don't.
Yeah, but
Well,
that's not
that's
like good
not a
enough
good enough
reason.
I'm not
answer.
doing that neither. Yeah, I'm not going down that route.
I'm not gonna tell you how I know
Well,
that.
we
but
have
they-
to. I mean, reptilians are a form
So,
of aliens.
so wait, Pat. So is it a secret of the Satanic Church that reptilians don't exist?
I'm not gonna go into that, but that's kind of a cover story for shit. But yeah, they do not. Exist.
So
Wait,
when
wait,
they're
wait,
talking
wait,
about
wait, wait,
reptilians,
wait.
what are they talking about? Satan?
Okay. If
They're
you
talking
read
about
my
the
book-
serpent.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So if you read the book, then it's in there, but I won't say it on there.
Yeah.
No, I got you. I got you.
No.
No, we seen it
well-
in the Bible. Remember when they was in the Garden of Evil, nigga? The Garden of Eve, nigga. That nigga, the serpent came, the snake came.
Yeah, that was Satan came to convince her to do against God's will. Yeah.
Yeah, but what's the problem with that, though?
Because
What's the problem with wanting knowledge?
I think that women's
Oh,
natural
well, here, I'll
God
tell
is
you.
Satan. I think
So
I'll tell you.
women's natural God is Satan.
So the reason why
It's the lust for knowledge.
if I tell you why, it just sounds crazy. So I'm not gonna say it.
No.
crazy.
By all
You
means,
want
dude.
crazy.
I literally
We're talking
schizo rant
about
all day,
aliens. That
man.
just
Yeah, we're
sounds
talking about
crazy,
fucking
man. Let's
aliens,
go.
man. Come on.
Yeah, we're in the foxhole.
Yeah, this is the Foxxhole, bro. Go deep. Let's go.
Hey, yo, Paul.
Yeah, no,
Whoa, whoa.
I'm not gonna go there. But
Oh,
yeah,
let
they don't
down.
exist, bro.
Tease.
Jeez. Unfair.
Nah, man. I mean, hey, cuz I mean, if we're gonna go to reptilian people now, come on, y'all. Like you said, what's the point of them? Just if there's really reptilian people, what's the point? Why are they just not crushing us and just killing
All
us?
right. Well, let me ask you this. When was the last time you heard church bells?
I don't know, but the last
Last week?
time I heard Islamic calls to prayer at 5 a.m.
Like last week, I was downtown voting, and yeah, the church bells went off.
Yeah,
I'm
they
not,
go
I'm
off
not
at
up early
12.
enough on Sundays for church.
Well, they go
bells.
off at noon in a lot of places too. When I was
Yeah, California.
at the
Okay,
Catholic
Okay.
church,
You guys are all in Indiana, right?
Yeah.
I am.
I'm
Okay, that's a okay. Well, Indiana's a super Christian state, so I can see more church bells there. I haven't heard church bells in fucking years.
No, but I was
I
talking
mean, I
about.
haven't even seen a church with any bell on it, to be honest.
I mean,
They
go to
removed
any
them.
Catholic. Well, they're still in like St. Luke's off of was it 79th and Meridian? They still have church bells.
The reason I bring it up, and I'm only going to mention this once because it is a schizo level that even I refuse to go to, is the reason that you don't hear church bells anymore is because the vibrations from the bells fuck up the reptilian's ability to look human.
on some Venom shit.
Yeah, on some Venom shit.
They're just symbiotes.
They're just symbiote. Exactly. Yep, on some Venom shit. Exactly like that. That's the most schizo shit that I've heard lately that I'm like, you know?
We'll just
I mean,
add it to the book.
The fact that somebody realized that there's no church bells is one thing. That's deep.
That's a thing in itself, though. That's a thing in itself.
Yeah.
You know, religions definitely went backwards, in my opinion, as far as where they were when we were younger. Well, Christianity, I should say, has been going
Christianity,
backwards.
like we discussed in the religion topic, it turned into a lust for money and power. So they're not using the Bible for teaching people anymore. They're using the Bible to make money and collect souls. So
Fill their coffers.
Yep.
Nobody else does that though, but Christianity. No other religion does that.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
just
but
speaking
they
from
don't-
Christianity to be honest about my own like supposed people. Like
Christianity does it way more than any other religion. I'll tell you that.
yeah, because of the prosperity doctrine.
That's for sure.
Well, this is a Christian country, right? Like,
Is it?
The
majority is
Constitution?
Christian.
Well, the
It was-
Constitution was built on Christian ethics.
It was a country founded by Freemasons. Freemasons are not Christian.
No,
Yes,
but they,
thank you.
But they did use the Bible and they used Christianity to form the Constitution.
What
Just like
are
Constantine-
Freemasons?
Constantine was not a Christian, but he used Christianity for political purposes.
Which
Yes.
is why the Catholics are still pagans.
And Constantine,
Yes.
he did not accept the sacraments until his deathbed. He was never a Christian. That is
I don't think he even accepted the sacrament in
political
honesty.
expediency. Political expediency.
Yeah, I don't even think he accepted the sacrament in honesty. He just wanted to make that image.
Yeah, correct.
To be fair though, do any of us accept it in honesty because we're so young when we do it?
Well, no, but when I was baptized as a baby because of the Catholic Church and the way they do things, that doesn't count. You have to figure it out for yourself after you've already understood things and you have a conscious level to understand that. So
that's what my mother told. My mother never got me baptized for that same reason. She said I want you to choose
what
on your own. And my mother's
my
real.
son isn't either, because I
No.
don't believe in forcing your kids through religion. I think they should make that choice as they get older.
Yeah, so I don't believe the baptism I had counts.
Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah.
If I may, in Satanism, we do not accept anyone below the age of 18. You must be an adult. You must consciously accept our teachings. You know, and no children.
What? No children?
No indoctrination
like the
on the
children?
children. No indoctrination on the children, bro.
Yeah.
You have to be a cognizant adult, aware of what you're doing, and then you accept our terms and conditions, and then you're initiated.
Well, with Satanism
like
too,
Apple.
with the ritualistic natures, the mysticism, and things like that, you don't want children in that realm.
No.
Because it's dangerous.
It is dangerous. It's dangerous. It is potentially life-threatening if you do not know what you're doing. Therefore,
I mean, so is heroin. But if Michael Jackson's daughter wants to snort cocaine and heroin her whole life, that's fine.
I'm not gonna give it to her. Bro.
Yeah, no. What the fuck are you talking about?
She has a hole in her nose for snorting so much coke.
That doesn't mean it's right.
What does this have to do with Michael Jackson's daughter? Why would you have Michael Jackson's daughter for?
I just watched a lot of shit on the Jackson 5 and Jackson.
Why was talk about the Jackson?
I don't know.
All right, so Jason, we're gonna use this. We're gonna use the Jacksons as a segue here. So on the subject of modern culture and modern celebrities, and even some of the financial sector, how much of their influence of Satanism do you think is legit? Because you have people watch these halftime shows, and a lot of the imagery, I will agree, is kind of a little suspect. Why would you choose that imagery? But okay. How much of that do you think is legit, or can you talk about any of that that's legit?
I will say again that this nation is founded by Freemasons. I know Freemasons, and they are not what they say they are. They are essentially Satanists, and they have other agendas going on than what has been taught to the masses.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm a high priest. I'm privy to information that others are not. And there's
but
more.
You won't share that information. You won't share it with us.
I'll share some. I'm
keeping secrets, bro.
Whatever you can.
It's part of Satanism. They don't share.
Sharing is caring.
That's a Christian trait.
It's a Christian trait, right?
I have every share more and more. Again, we are satanic mystics. If you practice, you will see for yourself. The information I will not put out there. However, if you follow the rites and call the names and whatnot, then you see for yourself.
Have you ever seen a movie that was like really close to like anything real? Like,
that's what I was getting at
for example,
earlier.
when you watch Chucky and how Chucky gets his body, how he turns and how the soul gets into it, and he has to say that chant. Have you ever heard like a chant that sounded like almost close to some real shit?
I mean, that goes into demonic transference and things like that.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that.
I'll give you some chance, bro. You want some chance? I'll give you some chance, bro. You want some chance?
No. I'm saying, have you ever watched a movie where you actually heard a chant? It was like, oh, that's damn near dead on.
Oh, Jason, yeah. Have you seen anything in movies, Jason, that would actually fairly represent a demonic transference? I have one movie.
There is plenty, bro. Even in sci-fi films, because individuals, knowingly or not, are influenced by certain entities, and they put this information in their movies. So there's a lot of truth to some movies, and actually a lot of movies, and it's slowly getting put out there, right? And this is intentional, maybe not by the producers, but the information is put into their minds to print this shit, bro. And it does happen. This I would concur is a fact, and there's stuff going on that people don't know about.
Yeah, one of the movies that I watched that has what I consider an accurate image of demonic transference is a movie called Fallen. It's with Denzel Washington.
Good actor.
Made sometime in the 90s, but it can be as easy as just brushing shoulders with someone who is possessed if that demon wants to jump into that other person.
Yeah, but does that person have to believe?
I seen that Azazel was in that movie.
Azazel was in the movie. Yep.
Azazel was okay. So they desire physicality. This is true, and our rights give them physicality. and by giving them physicality, we acquire their power, which is power of being a satanic mystic. And yeah, so there's the truth in that movie. Again, information is put out there, knowingly or unknowingly, to serve a greater agenda. And
and what was Sly was talking about. I think the unbelievers are the easiest ones to get into. If you don't believe anything, you're not going to notice when they step in your back door.
But that's the difference, though. Like, how much of that would require my belief? Like, if I firmly just don't believe this shit, and am I more of an asshole all of a sudden? I mean, or is the demon going to be like,
it's like, if I don't believe in the
guy?
boogeyman, I don't have to worry about him coming to get me.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's not that I don't believe in demons, because I don't believe in demons in a biblical sense so much as I believe that, yes, there are beings on a dimensional plane different than our own that are negative. Because if there's positive, there has to be a fucking negative. If there's a positive place you can go when you die, there's got to be a negative place you go when you die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of that shit I think is real. But how much of that would require my belief? You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, for demonic transference, if we suppose that demons exist in the way that me and Jason are talking about, it doesn't require somebody's belief to have the demon transferred into him, is what I'm saying.
So again, if it was to transfer into me, would I be just more of a dick? I mean, would I even, you know?
It depends what demon infests you. Like, that's the thing. It's not a cookie cutter answer.
So the thing about that is intentional surrender to it. You don't lose your you don't lose your cognitive ability. You not lose your say. You acquire its power, and you work together, right? But unintentional demonic possession, it does happen, and you know, and it leads to psychological disorders. However, if it's cognizantly done, then you know, you can control it, and we have safeguards in place for our initiates to assure that it be cognitively controlled, and you can maintain it. Right?
Are you possessed right now?
What is that?
Oh, it's just a marble.
Oh,
it's a big marble. My glasses.
He's trying to catch your soul. He's trying to catch your soul through the fucking mic.
I get pooped in my laptop right now. No, please stop.
No, this is my glass blower.
Back to the shadow realm.
You're taking my. All right, but yeah, but that.
Fucking shit.
Yeah,
I don't like you, but yeah, it's funny though.
So I got a question, Jason. Are you currently possessed? Or is that something you can't talk about again?
I am.
Oh. Who are you possessed with?
That can I say?
Oh, well, if you don't tell me, I can't cast it out, Jason.
Exactly.
I'm gonna ask. You know what? I'm gonna ask Pat the same question. Would you consider having Christ in your heart being possessed by Jesus?
Good shit, bro.
By definition.
Good rebuttal. Good rebuttal. I like it.
No, I said by definition. I could agree with that. Just by what possession. If we look at like what possession defines as, sure.
I don't have a follow up. That was the only question I had.
Oh.
Okay. Let me jump in here. Okay, so depending on your level of spiritual progress, you can only surrender so much percentage of your body, soul, and spirit. And there's safeguards in place to ensure that you not become demonically possessed. And once you come to a certain point, they will take over, right? And so each initiate is taught how much percent they can surrender safely to acquire that power and without losing themselves.
Right. So, do we have any other topics that we want to talk about on the alien side of things? I don't know. Every single show ends up in religion nowadays.
The Hebrews, the fucking.
We can talk about Jews if you want. I don't care.
No, we don't. We're not going to talk about Jews right now.
Timbuktu, fucking.
Oh, that was last week. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, where's my girl ski at? Where's my girl ski?
I was going to try to correlate some things that Sly said earlier, where, like you said, a lot of people end up missing and nobody knows where they went. I know y'all heard on the news they just found like mad bodies somewhere in the middle of the desert somewhere. You heard about that? They found like piles and piles of bodies in the desert.
Where at?
In the middle of the desert, they said somewhere. I don't even remember the state. They just said in the middle of the desert they found like piles of bodies.
I'm just looking up, see if I can see anything.
See if we can find some on that real quick. And so
I see
say
a
that
story
to say I don't
about
want to credit
6
that to aliens
bodies.
because again, I think aliens are pussies. I don't think they're killing us.
I think it's like 50-50, man. I think it just depends on who you get picked up by. If you get picked up by some organ harvesters.
I do think there's different races. I think there's different races of aliens. Do you believe that?
I mean,
there is.
Absolutely.
There is.
Yeah,
absolutely.
why wouldn't there be?
No, I didn't know. I mean, some people think they all look, you know what I mean, all have the big eyes and the green head and the, you know what I mean? No, I think there's all kind of different shapes.
Well, you also, I mean, you've got the ones that look like us, but just fucking beautiful. You've got the tall whites, you've got grays, you've got reptilians, you've got insectoids, you've got like, at least from what I've seen from a lot of these, you know, whistleblowers and whatever, there's at least 7 different races that we're dealing with on a regular basis.
Do they have any definitions on those races, or they just say 7?
No, there's
there's definitions, there's names, there's draconians. Usually it goes by what star system they come from. Like there's maps and shit, you know, like it's not all bullshit. And what I think what comes with a lot of it is just the stigma of talking about aliens is what gets people, because you automatically, your brain's like, yeah, this is bullshit. You know what I mean?
No,
and you don't even consciously do it though. You don't even consciously do it.
Well, that we've been kind of conditioned over the years to think aliens are bullshit as well. So it's.
But that's by design. We were meant to believe it.
But I'm saying you can't blame humans for being propagandized.
And I don't blame them. But what it bothers me is like when people don't. And I'm sure Jason feels this way about like the Church of Satan. What bothers me is when people don't do their own research and come to their own opinion. When they just take at face value what society tells them is bullshit, or tells them what to believe, or tells them what's wrong to believe.
Which is why,
That's really what interests me about Satanism is about. I've noticed that every religion, people will be cool with other people, no matter what their religion is. As soon as you bring Satanism, we can't even be friends. I'm like, damn, every other religion you can be cool with somebody because somebody really worships Satan or believes in Satan. Now you can't.
I mean, Satan.
I think that's crazy.
Satan is the adversary, so that's why we have that thing. But when you break it down to it,
you know what you're supposed to live by, right?
Correct. So how is it a problem?
I'm not making it a problem.
I've had family members, aunts, uncles, whatever, who have shunned me once they found out what I do, you know, and that's wrong, bro. You know,
it is wrong.
I agree. I
accept Buddhists, I accept Muslims, I accept Christians, I accept anyone of any faith, as long as you're a good person, a good man, woman with a good heart. I don't care what you believe in. You know what I'm saying?
Well, with you specifically, Jason, from what I know about you so far from our talks, you are not a person that actively tries to bring people to Satan. You wait for someone to approach you about it.
I wait.
Yeah, and see, I think overall,
you even said that like a demon. I wait. I wait.
And they come.
I will be here in the darkness.
I wait and they come.
And they come. That's part of my job.
Yeah.
And I don't blame you for that. Like, I think Satanism gets a bad rap, and I think it's misunderstood. I think some of the values that you guys have is in some cases more wholesome than Christian values.
Well, derived from the Bible, so.
That's why I say some of that shit that happened in the Bible, they would kill Jesus, man. If Jesus possessed your body and you went around talking all positive and then turning water into wine and some shit, somebody gonna shoot you, my nigga.
Yeah, I think Trick Daddy had a line about that in Thug Holiday.
I make some Pruno. I can make some Pruno, turn water into wine.
One of my favorite comic strips is these 2 short gray aliens. They're standing there talking to each other, and they're looking at Jesus on the cross. And one of them says to the other one, "You know, I think we need to get the fuck out of here." That's what I think.
I mean, I wouldn't blame them, because I mean, every account of like the physicality of an alien goes back to what News was saying. They look weak, little skinny guys with big heads. Like, if that's what we think aliens are, if that's what they really are, it's going to be like Mars attacks.
Until they're not, though. I mean, even Noah was born with fucking translucent skin and glowing fucking bright sun-like glowing eyes. I mean, his mom was so his dad was so upset when he was born that he had to ask his grandfather Methuselah what the problem was with his son. And when Methuselah told him, "This is a child of light. You need to cherish this child and wait until you receive the message."
Is it an albino?
No, he had glowing skin.
He was an alien. Gold, he was a fucking alien.
It
He
doesn't
wasn't
make
a
him an
fucking alien.
alien.
Fuck off.
He was a fucking alien. I don't care what anybody says.
Everything's a
He was a
fucking
fucking
alien.
alien.
Speaking of
You
albino,
need to get that curly hair,
jellyfish
dude.
that light up. Is a jellyfish an alien? Jellyfish light up, bro. Are they
Yes,
Yo,
jellyfish are fucking
yo.
aliens.
You're
Their
an alien.
I've
DNA,
seen an albino.
dude. The jellyfish DNA is so alien to anything on Earth that they can replicate their own cells. No
So?
other being on planet Earth can fucking do that. A jellyfish, octopus, all of those motherfuckers, I think were brought here in their current state because there's no fossil record of any of them.
Have you
And
ever heard
octopi
the path
are
to-
intelligent
Have you
as
ever heard the
fuck.
path to outer space is really through the ocean?
Yes, I
That
have
the
heard that.
aliens really live in the ocean because we can't go
They
there.
do.
They're
Are
not
you
in
talking
the
about
sky.
like
fucking
the
do.
hollow? Are you talking about like the hollow Earth theory?
I
No,
don't know
he's
what that
talking
is.
about it being.
I've heard people just spit theories, and I've heard them say that they think that the aliens live underwater, not in space.
Well, that's
There-
because there's
there's-
videos out there of saucers going up and down out of the water and things like that.
There's also a lot of military records of big, massive objects under the
Yeah.
water that have no reason to be there, that are traveling at 100, 200 fucking knots, which is impossible with anything that we have. So I firmly believe that, yes, off the coast of California, off the coast of Georgia, off the coast of Bimini, there's
Marion.
definitely things in the water. There's
Well, and that's-
absolutely 1000% bases in the water.
Well, and who
Jason, I
knows
think
what
you've probably done some research on this. Maybe not could be wrong, but all these places do they tend to keep happening in the same states?
They do, and that's why there's a particular spot off the coast of California, off the
Yeah.
coast of San Francisco, particularly, where you used to be able to see an anomaly off the coast, but now, after the past few years, they censored it. Now it's just blurred out; you can't see it anymore. But there
I
is
do
absolutely
believe-
1000% bases off the coast of California and off the coast of the Carolinas.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. I do believe the Mariana Trench is really close to what you're. Oh no, that's way off the side. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's nowhere near Marianas Trench. But it,
No.
it doesn't even have to be that deep. It literally, we've only mapped less than 10% of the fucking ocean. We've got 90% of it that we've never seen. Now,
Yeah,
every
I
time
agree.
we do one of these sonars off the coast, and every time we do one of these things, what do we find? We find ancient civilizations. Off the coast of Cuba, there are massive pyramid complexes bigger than the pyramids of Giza that are 300 feet underwater.
Yep.
Now, when was the last time that coastline was not filled with water?
That'd
More
be
than
pre-flood.
10,000 years ago.
It'd
Way
be
more than
pre-flood.
10,000 years ago. Way pre-flood. We're talking
Yeah.
a pre-Adamite civilization. Because when Adam and Eve were kicked out of Eden, where did they go? They went to the nearest city. Who the
Yeah.
fuck was there if Adam and Eve were the first humans?
Well, they had to
That
create
is,
some. Give them a little time.
The land of Edom. East of Eden. So
Yeah.
Somebody's making some sense. Somebody's making too much sense here.
It ain't Kurt or it ain't Sly Fox. God bless.
That's
Like-
$30, Jason.
We're up to like $2,000 now.
What's the bet? What's the bet?
You gonna go in debt fucking with this slide?
Oh,
I'll
I am.
tell you
I
that.
am. I'm on a big
What's the bet?
ticket.
I want my $30. I'll give you my cash app. What's the bet going on here, bro? I want to know.
It's not a bet. It's every time he dead names me or real life names me instead of my handle.
Yeah. See, the
Oh.
problem is I've known Sly for 22 years, and this is the first time on this show and the shows in general that I've had to call him Sly instead of his real name. So it keeps.
It's hilarious.
Okay. I'm gonna start keeping tally then, bro. We're at $30 right now.
Oh yeah. We're up there. We're definitely up there.
Slide,
will-
we'll split it, bro. We'll split it.
I do have the
Oh, heck
power
yeah.
to remove you, Jason, if you keep asking for donations.
Petty as fuck, Pat. Petty as
He's
fuck.
gone. He's
If y'all
gone.
believe in aliens, do you think that
I'm
aliens
done.
live by like some of the same shit as us? You
Just
think
like that.
Go ahead,
aliens have
Dumpster.
like karma?
I think
Oh.
I think that aliens are above karma. I think that they operate on a more not even scientific, but a more practical level. I think if you don't have the skills, you don't exist as an alien. You know what I mean?
That's
No,
deep.
I don't know what you mean.
Okay, let me take
I mean,
this.
like you.
I know what he means.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
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 when
no,
the
no,
skills.
finish what you were saying because I was going to
So
ask you a question. Go ahead.
I think that if you, as a society, as a functioning society that has reached the level of interstellar, intergalactic travel, you are not going to have social parasites. You're not going to
Okay, that's
have
fair.
people that don't do shit.
That's
You're
fair,
going
'cause
to
everybody's
contribute to
gonna be
society, or
contributing.
you're not going to exist. Period.
Yeah.
It's going to be commie type shit, but you contribute or you don't exist. Period. And they've reached a point to where, as a society, as a entire populace, can come together and achieve these things scientifically, and they've probably been doing it for millennia. So I assume they have a higher moral culture than we do.
And to your point there, if that's the way that they work, then they don't operate off a set of morals. They operate on survivability and evolution of their own culture.
Which is
they'll
common
do it-
sense.
Well, no, it's.
If it was common
I don't
sense,
think-
we'd be doing it.
Yeah, I don't think.
But we're
offing
not. We're
people
humans.
because
But
they're
the
not
difference with
working.
that is we're humans. We were gifted free will. These aliens might not have free will. They might be programmed to do, thrive and
Maybe.
prosper. Thrive and prosper.
According to
That's
Well,
it.
Pat-
then
according to
morality
Pat,
wouldn't even
they
come to
got free
place.
will because God created them.
That's exactly right.
All right, I'll give you that.
We can come back to that. Yeah.
So, but I was going to ask you this because you said, Sly, you said because for every action there's a reaction. If it's good, it's going to be bad. All that. So if
Yep.
there's aliens. Do you think there's a real Men in Black?
Absolutely.
Oh, he does, yeah.
Absolutely. I think not only is there a Men in Black, but there is absolutely 100%, without a doubt in my mind, I would bet every dollar I own that there is a secret faction of the government that actually runs the government. Solely
big
based on the fact that prior to 2001, they were unchecked. The CIA has never passed a budget audit. The Pentagon has never passed a budget audit. By
They don't need to.
2001, annually, every year, they were missing $2 trillion. I don't think
tried to
people
erase
understand
that.
how much that is. Now, if you were needing a budget to operate as your own country, your own entity, with your own Navy, Air Force, and fundraising campaign through the drug transaction, through the drug cartels, through the CIA Black Ops programs, that is how you would do it. And I firmly fucking believe that we have a section of the government that is not ran by people that we know, that is ran by these unelected officials that have been in their seats for decades at a time.
Well, that's when you get into DARPA technology and things hidden. Like you can't do
That's
this
the tip of the iceberg. That is
But
the
I'm saying-
DARPA and HARP. That's the tip of the iceberg.
Right, but I'm saying to have the tip of the iceberg, you can't show what's beneath it. You can't show the whole iceberg. So you have to have a tip to show people to say, well, this is just DARPA. This is just what the military is working on for war efforts and things like that. So we'll show you a couple things like, when the F-35 came out and its thrusters could go down and launch it vertically, woo, like things like that. So they're not going to show
So
you.
I'll even raise you. I've listened to so much whistleblower testimony and so many soldiers that talk about the stuff that they've seen in the field. So many special ops guys that have talked about the stuff that they've seen. I firmly fucking believe that when we talk about sex trafficking and like trafficking of children and stuff like that, and we have a deal with these beings. It's not just them hunting them on our national parks. We are supplying them with undesirables. We are supplying them with third world human fucking beings for whatever their purposes are. That was the deal we made with them. That was the deal we made with the fucking Greys. In exchange for them helping us with technology. Yes, in exchange for them helping us with technology, they refused to give us weapons, but we agreed to manufacture the ability to do their experiments and help them accommodate whatever they fucking need in exchange for the technology.
Sly,
Well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Which one?
Have you heard of zoocosis before?
Mm-mm.
I brought it up to P one day in a conversation, but it's this term that everybody's been calling where a lot of people are like, they record stuff on the internet, but a lot of people have been saying like they feel like life is well, it's basically what the animals feel when they're in the jet, like when they're in the zoo, like when they're in the cage so long, they almost feel like life is just repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is, especially when you look at how we live. Us in America, we live the gold standard. We can do whatever the fuck we want when we want to do it. If we don't feel like working, there's social programs for us to do so. Whereas if we lived in a third world country, if we don't grind, we don't fucking eat that day.
Yeah.
Period. You have to survive. And I think that the luxury of not having that kind of problem gives us the ability to think the way we do. It gives us the ability to expand on our thoughts and expand on how we outlook on society versus, worrying about food every day.
Yeah.
These people are saying they feel like, the days are just going like a lot of these people are just saying like they feel like how people talk about the Matrix. Like people are like saying that they feel it now and it's like depressing and it's called psychosis and everything.
There was a whistleblower. There was a whistleblower that just
talking about is moving so fast.
Like,
well, there's a guy
that way.
There was a guy that was just on Sean Ryan talking about that. He was talking about if you take a laser level, like a DeWalt laser level, and you take some DMT and you put that level on the wall, you will see a code. You will see an unchanging code, no matter where you move or how you move it, whatever. you can see that. But if you put that laser level on a person, you can see the code changes, very similar to how the Matrix, when you see a person versus a building. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like the
And
slit experiment.
and the slit experiment is exactly what comes into why I believe what I believe, that all religions are correct. All these planes of existence exist because of the infinite possibilities that come with being an observer of reality. You as a person have a measurable effect on your fucking reality. So if you keep telling yourself my life sucks, this shit sucks, nothing
Yeah.
works out, nothing is going to work out for you. Whereas if you manifest that positivity of this is going to happen, I'm going to do this, this is what I need out of life, it will happen. It will come to you because you're putting that out there.
It's not just the energy of, man, I don't believe in manifest destiny, but if you put yourself in a more positive mind state, like I tell people all the time, the only thing you can control in life is your reaction. You know, how are you going to react to what's going on in your life, to a situation, things like that. So if you change your inner view to positivity, and you want to see more positivity, and you want to do more positivity, you're going to put yourself into places and situations that lead to what you want to go to. It's not because you're just thinking like, I need to be successful and I need to think about it real hard, and boom, I got a Corvette in my driveway. Like, it doesn't. And I don't think that's what you're saying, but that's when people talk about manifest destiny, that's what they mean. They mean, I think it, so it happens.
What I'm saying what I'm saying by you have a measurable effect on reality. Post pre 9/11, there was this study done about random number generator. So basically, what they did was they put these random number generators in a room, and they have these people that have you know psychic ability, whatever you want to call it. You can have that effect on that number generator. If you think of this number so much, it'll come to it, whatever.
Which is
so what they did was right. So what they did was they put these random number generators all throughout the planet, right? And in the 2 weeks leading up to 9/11, they had a measurable result in stress and anxiety from these random number generators. Now, what they've also shown was that if they take these people, these remote viewer type people, the people that meditate and can do things like that, I'm one of them. If they take enough of these people and put them in a city like Chicago and have them broadcasting these positive vibes, positive thoughts, positive feelings, putting that positive energy into the universe, they had a measurable effect on the amount of shootings that took place, the amount of violence that took place, the amount of prosperity that starts happening. It's
frequencies.
It's frequency.
Yeah.
Now,
when we talk about go ahead.
When we talk about Christianity versus Satanism, and that also plays into it as well. I think that if you are tuning yourself to the vibrational level of what comes to you as being a Christian or what comes to you as being a Satanist, I don't mean to do the up and down, but like wherever they may be on the spectrum, you're attuning your consciousness to that vibrational level. And because we have a measurable effect on society and a measurable effect on the universe, being observers of the universe and experiencing it, we can control our own lives.
Well, and to kind of piggyback off that, and to our viewers as well, remember, human beings are made of two basic elements. Electricity is a plasma, but electricity and water. So you have a conductive and you have the electricity. What we can do with our minds that operate off electrical synapses, we don't even know we can actually do. Some people, like you said, Sly, can tap into that kind of stuff, but a lot of us have the ability. But again, you're forced all these years to tell people that you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. And that's when it gets into your mind state, what you think you can do and what you can prove. But
that's where I find Christianity to be kind of limiting. They tell you that you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. Whereas Satanism is the opposite. You are the master of your own universe, period. You are the decider of your own destiny. Nothing decides that but you, period.
But
it seems like you can't do it without Jesus.
Right. And you can do anything without Jesus. I've done it.
Jesus.
Go ahead, Jason.
Again, I read it. Mystic, someone who gets down there and does it for themselves. It can't be done without Jesus, without God. Even without saying, it's just spiritual belief and believing in the power of the human soul, bro.
And when people say like mysticism oh yeah, go ahead, Jason. Sorry.
Positive thinking, as Sly said, leads to positive results. You know what I'm saying? You create your own destiny. Yep. This is correct. You know what I'm saying? And if you firmly believe you're gonna be a loser, you're gonna have nothing. You're gonna be a loser. You have nothing. But if you firmly believe that because everything comes from mind. Mind creates everything. God is mind. God is consciousness, right? And what mind creates, mind can alter, and mind could destroy. You know what I'm saying? And if you believe in your mind, because you be like a little god, in miniature, your mind, your conscious, and you can make this positive existence for yourself if you firmly believe it. Positive thinking, these positive results. You make your own destiny, manifest destiny. Manifest destiny is actually a United States concept. When the United States they took over the Indian population, whatever, that was manifest destiny. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about
the other definition.
We're talking about manifesting reality. We're talking about altering reality.
Yeah. But earlier, manifest destiny was mentioned, and that's totally off subject, right? Because that was an excuse for them killing the Indians and everything. You know, so we're not gonna talk about that. We're talking about manifesting your own future for yourself, and but what the mind creates, right? And the positive thing leads to positive results, and that's what all religions teach. If taking your head, bro.
They don't, though, Jason. They don't. Like, that's not what Christianity is about. You're not manifesting your positive thoughts. You're making yourself view life in a more positive way so that you
give me 2 seconds. I'll be back.
Better situations. Like, you can't just sit here and think about positivity all day and all of a sudden something's positive is going to happen to you.
Yeah. Okay. So you have to act. You have to act. You think it and you make it happen, right?
But that's on the self.
That's not a self. It's a personal experience. Again, everyone has a power to change their lives, but positive thinking and positive action. You can't just sit there and do a ritual. Think, okay, the checks will come in the mail. I'll be rich tomorrow because I prayed to Satan or I prayed to Jehovah, or whatever. Never happen, bro. But if you pray to them and you positively think, okay, this is going to manifest, then that gives you the incentive and the push to make it happen for yourself, and then you act on it. And you're gonna make that shit happen, bro.
That's the thing. So that's all internal psychology.
Hey, if that was true, there would be no such thing as a poor Christian,
right?
Or a fucked up Christian, or a poor Satanist, or a fucked up Satanist.
Well, in reality, it would be completely fucked up.
To their God
that's
would be
right.
I mean, keep it 1,000, guys. Who thinks negative all the time about themselves?
Oh, I've been in that situation. I've been in that situation for years.
People do. A lot of people do, bro.
It's called depression.
Shit, bro. I've seen it.
Shit.
It's called depression. I mean, you get into certain situations. Oh, no, you're good. But like, it's only been in the last year and a half that I've started on this positive thing. Like, I want to control my reactions. I know I don't have to be negative all the time, because if I choose to be positive, I can find something positive in almost everything, and I can build off that. But before, when I was always thinking negative, I would get to the situation, it would automatically bring me back because I assumed the worst.
Every vicissitude in life serves only to make one stronger, bro. All of the obstacles, all of the pain, the strife, the contention. If you overcome it, if you meet it and you master it, it makes you stronger. It makes you a better person. You evolve to be something more than what you were, and
There's a word for this, guys. There's a word for all of this. That everything y'all just said, there's a one word that sums all that up, which is the word confidence. And I'm trying to understand what makes you lose what makes you get there, what makes you lose your confidence to where you're like,
mine was the government.
What?
When the government started lying about everything, and the government started bombing other countries, and the government couldn't even make a straight story, I'm like, well, the government controls the media. So if the media tells me anything now, I can't believe what the media says. I can't believe what the government says. So
that was happening before you were born. You and I were born.
Yeah,
right?
that's been
correct,
since the 2000s.
It didn't occur to me to like pay attention to that kind of stuff until Bush bombed Iraq after 9/11. That's when it started for me, because the transition was, we were in Afghanistan fighting the terrorists that hit us on 9/11, but all of a sudden we shifted focus, and now we're in Iraq bombing them. This doesn't make any sense, and that point is not making sense.
As a black man, I'm disappointed. Can't lie.
In what?
Like that's what got you. That's when it hit you.
No, I'm saying I was negative for a while, but I'm saying when I started paying attention to what was going on
that the
in the
government
news and
was
things.
lying to you was when 9/11 hit, my nigga. Come on.
But you should
How old were we? We were freshmen, Eddie. We were only freshmen in high school. I wasn't paying attention to anything till then.
That's why. And maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just because I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Street smarts.
Right.
Street smarts.
The natural state of the white man is to trust their government.
It is. And then when you break that trust, it's a very hard reality.
Yeah, and a lot of them can't handle that, which is where you end up with these, these zealots, these MAGA zealots, or the fucking you know, on the opposite side, whatever you want to call the left side of that. But like
the lunatic left, Antifa
Who-
terrorists, Islamists.
whomever, you can say the same thing about right-wing extremists like myself. I mean, we're on the same level. An extremist is an extremist, period.
Yep. Well, and if you look at like the horseshoe chart, when you start to look at like politics, you got the center at the bottom, and then as the horseshoe goes up, you're starting to get into the left and the right. When the horseshoe starts to come back together, that's when you're in the extremist territory. There's not a bunch of difference between the left extremists and the right extremists, besides their belief in government and belief on what humans should be able to do with themselves. But when it comes
what
down
makes
to
somebody an extremist about something?
Well, what makes me an extremist is that I believe in freedom. I believe that we should be able to practice what we need to individually without the state saying otherwise.
Yeah,
that's what makes me an extremist.
What's so extreme about that? I don't
Exactly.
understand.
What's so extreme about that? Thank you.
It's the government that labels it extremist because you're saying I don't need government to live my life. So then you're
according to Joe Biden, I am the greatest threat to democracy.
Yeah.
Well, Biden sucks.
What's the opposite of an extremist?
Just someone in the
liberal.
Center. Liberal. Well, no, not a liberal, because there's left and right extremisms. Well, we firmly derailed this show.
If you just don't,
I thought we were talking about aliens. Hey, we never talked about the Book of Enoch. We're talking about the Book of Enoch. It's kind of crazy stuff. It's out the window.
I don't know.
Doesn't matter. I've been drinking. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's more organic this way.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2.
It's more organic this way.
It's more organic this way. It's more real.
Yep.
Nah, man.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead, Double.
We're gonna go back to the aliens then. I mean, I've said my case. I think the motherfuckers is real.
I think we covered it already.
We did.
Yeah, so I think we've come to the general consensus. Everybody thinks they're real in some aspect. We don't all agree that it's all the same thing, but in some aspect of our personal beliefs, there is something out there. There are other things that are out there in general.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm not gonna say how I know this, but Area 51, they have 2 spaceships, four pilots, and that's what they use for reverse engineers: the F-22 Raptor, the B-21 Raider, and the B-2 Spirit.
Fire.
They're out
there. Go
there,
ahead, Jay.
I'm done. That's all I want to say.
I mean, that's where Greer got most of his information, is Area 51. So.
That's not where Greer got most of his information.
Yes,
where the fuck did you get that from? No, you're talking about Bob Lazar. You're talking about Bob Lazar.
I am talking about Bob Lazar. Don't yell at me.
I will. You're wrong.
Yeah, they exist. They ain't creators.
My friend.
The fact Area 51 exists. The fact Area 51 exists. I mean, is like almost like a giveaway.
Well, I mean, if we want to talk about what did it for us, what did it for me is literally the fact that they are hiding it from us. We've had proof for 75 fucking years that these things come here, and nobody cares. Nobody fucking gives a shit. You know why nobody gives a shit? Because we still have to live. We still have to make our paychecks. We still have to pay our bills and pay our fucking rent. What the fuck is an alien going to do to me?
No, what you just said is the real distraction. I hate people saying something is a distraction. That's the real life is the real distraction. I was just telling my homegirl, I was like, yo, you remember what the hottest story was about 3 to 4 weeks ago? Do y'all remember? It was the hottest story on the news.
Well, no, that's how the news cycle works.
Yep.
You remember the kid? Y'all remember that kid David with the girl in the trunk, the hot singer?
Oh, David, yeah, that stupid shit. Well, I mean, look at this.
What happened, nigga?
What happened to the assassination of Charlie Kirk? All of a sudden, we don't care about that anymore either, and that was supposed to be the biggest thing in this country.
Shit so quick, dog.
Right.
It's moving so fast that nobody cares. Everybody's numb to shit. That's a big deal at some point.
Yeah, that's
on that subject, what's his face? Not Charlie Kirk. The other guy used to wear a bow tie, worked for Fox News. Tucker Carlson. Today dropped all the information about Thomas Crooks, the guy that shot Trump.
Yeah.
And how the FBI was saying that they didn't have an internet profile for the guy, but Tucker Carlson spent the last 6 months combing through the shit. It's 30 minutes. I think you should watch it. I firmly believe that this shadow government that runs everything absolutely had planned to assassinate Trump at that fucking rally. Why else was that rally in the middle of fucking nowhere with 100 people on national news like ABC, CNN? Why were they there? They weren't at any of other Trump's rallies. Now you couple that with the fact that this fucking kid had been on YouTube commenting things, commenting outward violence and stuff like that, you know, calling for violence, saying that that's the only way things are going to change, what have you. He was approached by somebody. Now, what the FBI does is they comb comment sections, find somebody talking shit, and poke them and prod them and say, hey, well, let's see how serious they fucking are. And if they're serious, which this guy was, Thomas Crooks was, according to the comments, he was messaged by this page who was part of a white nationalist fucking, you know, whatever Nordic Alliance type thing, which is another cover used by the FBI. So when they got in touch with him, they judge how much of an extremist you are. They judge how actionable you would be, how open you are to, how susceptible you are to suggestion, and they go from there. Now, this kid was absolutely open to suggestion. This kid was absolutely everything they were looking for. Why do you think we haven't gotten a toxicology report? Because he was on SSRIs, which makes you open to suggestion. Now,
does it?
Yeah, it does. Because,
are you saying he's a paid hitman?
Oh, he wasn't a paid hitman. He was a patsy. He was a patsy. He was the modern day Lee Harvey Oswald. He's a fucking patsy.
He was chosen to do this job because of whatever. My only problem with that whole story is why would you pick the guy who's the worst shot in Pennsylvania?
He wasn't the worst shot, and they were working with him. They were specifically training with him. Right. Why else won't the FBI release the footage from the shooting range that Thomas Crooks was going to all the time? Why else did the metadata from cell phones prove that somebody's cell phone who was constantly going to and from the FBI office was hanging out with Thomas Crooks?
Well, then that would mean a complete setup, patsy. Yeah,
absolutely. So all the evidence points to that. And now when you sit there and add all this evidence up and you look at it and you see that he was not only flying a drone in the area, but during the time when he was flying that drone for those 11 minutes, the records of the Secret Service say that their anti-drone software was malfunctioning and not working for those 11 minutes. So they literally manufactured this event. You had the news there, you had all the media there, you had the perfect camera angle, you had the perfect shooter, you had the perfect angle of attack from the roof that was specifically cut out. I've seen the Secret Service plan of security. They specifically cut out this section that was that rooftop. It's completely a manufactured event. We were not supposed to have Donald Trump be the president. That wasn't supposed to happen.
No, I think I've said this before. I think we've found our topic for next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is going to be insane. A good show next week when we're talking about political assassinations, mind control, things like that. I think this is going to be good for next week.
I mean, fuck, you ever see Naked Gun? That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. With that being said, did anybody got any more alien stuff they want to bring up for tonight?
I think we covered it, bro.
I do. Got
I think we're good. No, you got it. You good.
Go ahead with your question. We'll take one more question.
It's not a question.
Or a statement.
What when it comes to aliens, like what do you think the whole purpose of the government keeping it secret is? Like, how do y'all think we would react as a whole, as a world, not as a country, but as a world, if they came out and said that? Because it ain't if our government knows, it ain't just our government that knows. Other governments are keeping it a secret too, right?
Okay, so
absolutely.
So one that is a question. You did ask a question, so we're gonna go with this. I think. Let's make this like the final answer. I want to go through everybody's opinion on this. In my opinion, the government keeps it control. If they were to launch it tomorrow, I think what Sly said earlier, there would be chaos in the streets because the way that the government has framed aliens over here, they frame aliens as this race of people that want to come here and destroy the earth. So of course people are going to ship bricks. Go ahead, Sly.
I think that if they were to come out and say that all of this is real, we've been keeping it secret for all this time, you would have the same kind of reaction we had to COVID. You're going to have the zealots that agree with the government that are going to say, yeah, this is absolutely a thing. And then you're going to have, I shouldn't say zealots because that was the wrong word, but you're going to have the people that agree with the government that follow what they say. Yes, this is a real thing. But then you're going to have the people that that go the exact opposite route, that go to the religious route. These are fucking demons. These aren't really aliens. This is just a demon's trick to try to get your soul. Because I deal with a lot of Christian nationalists and I deal with a lot of Christian people through being a right-wing extremist. So, and that is a lot of their point of view, is that these aren't aliens, they're fucking demons, and they should be destroyed.
Which could be a valid point of view, but we have no idea.
We have no idea of knowing, and I disagree with that point of view. I don't think they're fucking demons, but I mean, sure, some of them could be, but I mean, you know, I think if the government was to come out and sit there and say that, which they already have from 2020 on, they have already came out with full disclosure. Nobody gave a shit. Not one fucking person gave a shit because what I said earlier, we still have bills to pay.
Well, not
what
only
the
that,
fuck
but
does that matter to me that I still got rent to pay, but there's aliens? Cool,
Right.
there's aliens. You're gonna pay my rent? No, then shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Apathy.
Period.
Yep.
Apathy. Exactly. Yep.
So, okay. Jason, did you have anything to add?
I would say it's my belief is that they're slowly leaking information so it won't be widespread hysteria. You know, because if they let everything be known at one time, like they tried with the Orwell incident on the radio, people started killing themselves, going crazy. So they're slowly getting us used to with movies, with commercials, to slowly accept the existence of extraterrestrials. And as time progresses, they will slowly leak more information. Like David Grush, it's slowly being put out there. He can't say too much right now because he's jumping the gun. So that's why he cannot say more than what he is able to reveal until it's time to the whole cards on the table. And that's my opinion.
Well, when there's a movie where a nigga or a person's fucking an alien, then I'll start believing you. But until then, that's crazy.
On that note, Sly, why don't you take us out of the show for tonight?
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Foxxhole. It has been a hell of a show.
Really
I couldn't ask for a better panel tonight. We had a lot of opinions. We got a lot of stuff covered. We got a lot of stuff covered next week as well. NWO, always good to see you. Jason, you're going to be a reoccurring guest, my man. You got some good opinions, and I like hearing from you.
Awesome sauce.
All right.
Yeah, take us out, Pat.
We will check you next week. The topic for next week is going to be political assassinations and government control, mind control in general. So I think you guys will want to see that.
MK Ultra.
Yep. Thank you for dropping by tonight, and we will see you next Friday at 10 p.m. See y'all later.
Yeah.